Hello everyone, my name is Katie of the Greenland Quilter and welcome to my channel and my I know I'm early today because we're going to do some work today. I have Myra on the channel with us. I have my husband on the channel with us, and later Teresa Louise is going to join us also. So y'all get ready. We're going to have a little bit of fun today. We're going to chit chat. So, and Myra's been working on some cute little blocks that she's going to share with you guys, and I think that's going to be fun too. So, that's where we're at. Okay. I guess we'll just sit here and talk until people start showing up. How many of those little blocks do you have done?
Well, none.
No, I mean, it looks like you've done the center.
These are already done. These are printed.
Oh.
See
Oh,
these, where did I go? Oh, see, these are all printed. And
okay.
I cut them up and then I'm going to, this really irritates me. Let me show you what I've done. I'm glad nobody's on here. So, I'm trying to sew on that red dotted line.
Move it up where I can see it. There you go.
To sew on the red dotted line.
Okay, here's what you can do with that. If you haven't added anything on it yet, take your 1/4-inch ruler or your ruler and put that 1/4-inch seam line on top of that dash line and trim your block to that. All the way around, trim it. And then when you sew your 1/4-inch seam allowance, it'll go right on top of the red line. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. That's all you got to do. Then you won't be stressing about trying to get it on the line. That means a little extra step.
I'm taking this out. Hang on.
Okay. Now I need to see here how many of these things I have done because we're going to talk about this because we have tonight's channel sew along. The sew along we're working on that going very slow. I ran into a little problem that I need to talk about, and I need to get feedback from those that are doing it to see what they did to improvise. And I need to turn the iron on. I didn't turn it on. See, she's just chilling, babe. She's got you little fatty. We need to get you outside exercising. You need to go swimming. I wish you would swim, but you're not like Coda. You just don't. She'll walk in the water, Myra. She just doesn't go swimming in it. She'll walk all in it, all the way up to her chest. She don't care. But if you try to get her to go swimming, you have to literally just drop her in the water and make her swim. And I don't like to get water in her ears when we're doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because she has fold down ears. Hey, Sherry, welcome. And hello, Carrie. Oh, right. We got a couple in here now. All right. So let me remove the spotlight. All right. So welcome to you guys. Here's what the plan is for tonight. We are going to work on the channel sew along. And as soon as more people get in here, I need to see how many's actually doing the sew along because I want to assess and discuss because I've seen a problem that I've run into. I want to see if y'all are running into the same issue too, because if you have, I want to see what you've done to improvise or if you've done anything about it. Okay, so I'm going to let Myra say hi. And then my honey.
Hi, everyone.
And tell them what you're working on.
Okay, so
wait, first Myra.
Yes.
Sorry, it's something between us. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, what I'm working on, I have these pre-printed little blocks. We've got the teddy bear. We've got that's another teddy bear, sorry. We've got the teddy bear, we've got the chicken. Can y'all see?
That chicken's cute.
Chicken. We've got Noel's. See, it says Noel. We've got just the Scandinavian hearts is what I call them. I don't know what they are. And then in addition to the chicken and the teddy bear, we've got Christmas trees and angels.
Those are cool. So are you making like a Christmassy type quilt?
Yeah, this is a Christmas throw. And Rocky Horse. And we have another teddy bear, a different teddy bear. This one's riding in a wagon. And then I've got a rabbit in a wagon.
Aw.
And I've got a goose in a wagon or a duck. I don't know.
Wow, that's so cute.
Okay, so
hey, Elfish, welcome, welcome.
So those are all my blocks. And I'm doing the economy block. I found a block that's going to work with the fabric I have, and I'm really excited. So I've got this green star material.
Pretty.
And it's going to go on like that.
Yeah.
You know, block in a block, but then when you add the next block, which is going to be solid red, that's going to be the economy block. So anyway, that's what I'm doing today. I'm just string sewing my sides on this guy. So that's all.
And thank you, Elfish, for asking everybody to give that thumbs up. Thank you so much. Y'all hit that thumbs up like button.
Okay.
And I'm going to spotlight you now, and you tell them what you're working on.
I'm working on the assembly square Lego, and I have the second one. It look like this. I got 3 sets of that, but I'm rebuilding the second one now after I've had an alternative move, different Lego from that set.
Is that like a 2-in-1 or a 3-in-1, or is it just you have a choice of building 2 different styles or 3 different styles?
This is what the whole set look like, but I have bought some instructions manuals on Unbreakable, where I can make an 2 different alternative models of that building.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
Using those Legos that from that set.
Okay. Okay.
So I've created 2 different models of that set. Like I said, I have 3 sets of that house.
Well, you have quite a pile of loose Legos sitting there.
Yep. I'm trying to.
So Sherry asked me if those were vintage blocks. So I bought that little piece of fabric with all those blocks on one piece of fabric, and I bought it at a thrift store. So probably it is older fabric, and it's been sitting because I've been afraid to cut it because I have a real fear of cutting fabric. And I'm working hard to get over that. So yeah, it just makes me nervous to cut fabric. And I know that is kind of silly, but you know, when it's not fabric that you've just purchased, when you've pulled it out of your stash and you know you can't get anymore, then I get nervous. Like this red, I'm not afraid to cut the red because I just bought it recently and I know right where there's plenty more. But that green and what I'm using for the sashing, which is a cream with red stars, yeah, that I bought a long time ago and should have bought more of it and didn't. Lesson learned. I'll never buy more. I'll never buy less than 2 yards of anything I want from now on out. But anyway, I didn't back in the day, and don't remember where I got the fabric, so yeah.
Hello, Robin. Welcome, welcome. For those of you who have a channel, don't forget you can type the word exclamation Sophie to share your channel in the chat. Okay, so there's a few things I want to talk about before we start working on the sew along. And also those of you who are doing the sew along, can y'all let me know, because I want to have a assess and discuss, because I've run into a problem, or I've noticed a problem, and even after making 2 of them, there's that problem sitting there, and I want to see if you're having the same issue, and if you have the issue, have you left it alone, or did you do something to fix the problem? So let me know in the chat if you're working on the channel sew along, which is the charm sew along, charm pack sew along. So let me know that, and I'll remind everybody, because we'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, first off, I want to talk about what starts. Yesterday they did a kickoff, and you're like, who did a kickoff? Who did a kickoff? Okay, so Moda Fabrics did a kickoff of the Moda Blockheads 6 block sew along. Okay, so this is year number 6 that they've been doing this. Every year they've been doing one. So I actually have Moda Blockheads 1 and Moda Blockheads 2 in book form. And they haven't created any books since then that I know about anyway. Sorry, y'all. And please bear with me. I have had 0 sleep.
You tried.
I tried and I tried and I tried. So if you see me yawn, just give me a little grace. There's nothing I can do about it. I just absolutely have not been able to sleep. And I don't know why. Something's bothering me, but I don't know what it is. And it could, sometimes I go through this little thing, and it's probably a mental thing. I don't know. But anyway, so what I want to talk about is, first we're going to talk about Moda Blockheads. So yesterday they did a video to kick off the sew along. They didn't issue block number 1 yet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen. And okay, Sherry, I'll put that down because I have questions to ask all of you who are doing this sew along. Okay, I'm going to share the screen and show you what the Moda Blockheads Facebook group looks like. Now, I know some of you do not use Facebook, and that's okay. You're not required to use Facebook, because there's another way to get to Moda Blockheads to download these blocks if you choose to do Moda Blockheads 6. I'm going to do them, and they issue a block once a week, and the first block is going to be issued Wednesday, May 28th. The papers that you get with, that you can, the PDF that you can print out, it actually has a mistake on the date of when the first block issues. It's actually May 28th, not May 24th. Okay, so let me share the screen. I'll show you what the channel looks like, or the group looks like. Okay, let's go here. And I'm going to share the screen. Okay, so the reason I'm showing this to you guys is, if you have time and you're interested, all of these blocks are free that they'll do every week. And they'll be done by designers. Some of the designers, you're going to know who they are, like Sherry of Chelsea and Sherry's channel, or it could be someone that works for Kimberly on at Fat Quarter Shop. There's lots of designers. It could be a Corey Yoder block. It could be anyone's block. And I think they listed they actually, I believe, listed all the designers that are participating in this current one that's going to start next week on the sew along. So you can join Moda Blockhead Sew Along. That's the name of the channel. As you can see, they when you go here, next Wednesday, the 28th, they will drop the first block at 8 a.m., I think, Eastern Standard Time, I believe. And you'll see a PDF in here. And if you don't see the PDF, then you can go over to where you see where it says Files. You click on Files, and all the PDF files are here. So if you scroll through here, you will see where there's all kinds of blocks, from Blockheads 3 to all the way down to, I think, Blockheads 1, or maybe, nope, Blockheads 2. Okay, all of these patterns are free. Now, having said that, Moda Fabrics also has a website. It's Moda Fabrics. And I'm going to take you there so you can see. Let me know y'all can see this, okay? And it's on modafabrics.com, and they will put it on what they call a somewhere down here it tells you what it's called. It's a page where they'll save these blocks. Should you can't find it, like it'll stay on. You should be able to find it on the group. If you can't find it on the group because either A, you just don't know how to find it, or B, because you're not a Facebook user, you should be able to stroll on over to modafabrics.com, look for the Moda blockheads, and if you look in my description box, I have shared every link you need to have if you want to participate that relates to Moda blockheads, including this page I'm showing you now. And it talks about what exactly is Moda blockheads anyway, which designers are participating this year. When does blockhead start and how long will it run? When will the block patterns be? It answers all the questions you might could think of. And they will be saving it on this page called the archives page. And I'm taking you there now. See, it says Moda Blockhead 6 archive. And here's where if you can't get to it on Facebook because you don't use Facebook or you just can't understand the group, you can go here and find it. Also, you can sign up for their newsletter, and every week when they issue that block, you will get an email. You see, there's a block newsletter sign up right here. If you sign up for that, every week you will get an email about the next block, and you can click on the link within the email and go straight to the block. So you have more than one way of getting to the block. They're formatted in PDF format where you can download them and print them, or you can leave them on your tablet and look at it that way. You can do it any way you want to. Everything is free. You don't have to sew along with everybody if you don't want to. You can do this on your own time. I might make, it depends on, I kind of have a lot on my plate right now, so I might just make the block and make like a short little mini tutorial or do a short video showing me sew the block and put it up so you can see that I've done the block. I don't know that I'm going to do them in a live because sometimes these blocks can be a bit intricate, and I like to, you know how long it takes me to sew a block anyway. I mean, I spent 2 hours making a block out of the 100 or out of the 1000 block book. So can you imagine how long it might take me to make a Moda blockheads block? So unless I can, now I might be able to figure out how to use half square triangle paper with their stuff because sometimes it's easier to do it with theirs. And I might do that. So anything you want, you can participate in it. This is one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. So it's up to you whether you want to do it. I'm not going to make this a channel so long because we already have so longs going on. I mean, I have the channel so long going on. I also have the collaboration with Sean doing the Star Climber. I have I'm almost getting close to finishing the Magnolia so long. I have a few on my plate, and then I have to reevaluate on what's going to be the so long after July because I'm going to do Christmas in July, and then we'll be starting again on something new, probably for the channel. The so long that we're working on right now, I do not have a finished date, so we're taking our time on this. Hey, Linda, hello, whoever else I might have missed. Also, now the other thing I was going to talk to you about, and I'm going to share the screen again in a minute, is I don't know how many of you watch Kimberly of Fat Quarter Shop on her Friday Lives, but she sent an email out today, and guess what? In February of 2026, she's going to start Socialites number 3. And I think I'm going to use Socialites number 3 as a sew along because it's free. You get free patterns, you get the blocks every week. Now we may not keep up with it doing it every week. I might just say let's do a block every other week, and you guys can catch up on the blocks we get behind on. Or I don't know, or we could do 2. I don't know. I'll figure it out when it gets closer. But I wanted to show you what it was about, and keep an open ear about it, an open mind about it, because it might be fun for you. And the blocks are similar to what you would find in a Moda blockheads pattern. And Kimberly, when she does her patterns, one thing about Kimberly I like is she will give you 2 ways to do things that relate to half square triangles or flying geese or economy block or a square and a square. She does offer paper where you can foundation paper piece it instead. And she will give you both the regular way of doing a block plus how to do it using paper and the measurements you would need to cut the fabric from. So like I like to take and do, so if a block had 16 half square triangles in it, I'm not going to do it the old way. I'm going to pull out a roll of my half square triangles as y'all see me do it, cut one big sheet, 2 pieces of fabric, and boom, 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 I've got that done in 10 minutes versus taking longer to draw, to cut the fabric, then cut it, draw the lines and then sew on the lines and then cut. Yeah.
Hours.
Yeah, it takes a while to do it the other way. Okay, so let me share the screen again as soon as I find it in my browser because I saved it because I wanted to show it to you so at least you were aware of it. There is a blog about it. I'll show you the blog, I hope. Where are you? There you are. Hang on a minute. Let me share the screen again, and then I'll talk to everybody in the chat. All right. Where is my, there you go. Let's share the screen again. Okay. So she, because I'm on their email list. So I get email, I don't know how many times a week, but when I saw this come across it, I had heard she had planned on doing one this upcoming year. I thought she was going to start it in the fall, but now I see she's going to start it in February. Okay, so Socialite 3 is officially on the way. You've been asking and we're finally ready to share. Socialites 3 is officially starting in February of 2026, and the simplicity has never been sweeter. Whether you decide that yours will be a 3-inch, a 6-inch, or a 9-inch block, instructions, the Socialite 3 quilt along will simply be the best sew along this next new year. She's also recommending 3 fabric collections. That's up to you. I'm not going to buy any fabric collections because I'm probably going to do batiks like, Okay, so if you use 3-inch, like if you want to make 3-inch blocks, you can grab 1 layer cake. If you're doing 6-inch blocks, you can buy a fat 1/8 bundle. If you're doing 9-inch blocks, you can have a fat quarter bundle. So it'll cover all those blocks for that whole thing. There is a PDF file here that you can download that's Socialites 3 pre-cut guide, and it talks about what you need. So if you're doing right here, the 3-inch blocks will make a 21.5-inch squared mini quilt. If you use 6-inch ones, you're going to do a 42.5. If you use 6-inch, I think that's 6-inch, no, 9-inch, sorry, you will get a 63.5-inch square quilt top. And this pattern's pretty. You can see some of Lori Holt's stuff in here too. I see there's this little tulip flower over here and a couple of other things that looks like Lori Holt stuff. So, and any of these blocks that you might not like, you can always replace them with the same size block of something you do like. You do you. This gives you pre-cut guide down. It's what this is called a Socialites 3 pre-cut guide downloadable PDF, and it's free. And then if you go over to the Fat Quarter Shop, you can also download it there. If you don't want to go to the blog, go to Fat Quarter Shop. I have posted the links in my description box for this also, and you can download this for free and print it out. So it's up to you how you want to do it, should you decide to participate in February with that. So that was the other thing I was going to talk to you about, so that you guys know that it's out there. And I will remind you more than once about this in case you decide you want to be part of it. Hey, Linda, welcome, welcome. I'm sorry, I'm just now saying hi to you. Okay, now, Sherry said she was doing a sew along. Anyone else in here that's doing a sew along? I need to see how many's in here right now that's doing the sew along. Hi, Katie and everyone from the chat from hot and sunny. You're in Florida? Wow. Where are you at in Florida, Linda? Because she doesn't live there.
St. Augustine.
Oh, nice. You picked a great place to go visit.
It's stuck this spring.
St. Augustine, baby.
Ooh.
And you remember how pretty that was.
We love St. Augustine.
Had a good time in the Castillo.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Never mind.
What were you going to say?
To the prison rooms to get me going.
Oh, yeah, of course. I have pictures of him standing behind the bars. We had a good time in there, let me tell you.
Yep.
It was pretty funny in there. You know him, Mr. Hambone over there. Okay. So Sherry's the only one in here working that's here right now that's working on this. And why does my lighting look weird? Babe, look at my
I don't know.
I have all the lights on, and why does it look like that? Don't put it in my face. Maybe it's something with that light. Maybe it's the wrong. No, don't. If you do it, you're going to turn colored lights on, and then it's going to trigger our oral migraine, which will be bad. Linda says she lives on a boat there. I didn't realize you were in St. Augustine, to tell you the truth. I thought you were in North Carolina or something. Okay. Sherry, are you there? I want to ask you a question about these blocks that we're working on. How long have you been living on a boat, Linda? I like going out on a boat. Hey, Cindy. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the notifications. YouTube's notifications are not working right. And I actually posted on my community tab and in Facebook and on Instagram. I forgot to go do it on Sherry's Discord though. Sorry. Okay, Sherry, when you sewed your hourglasses to the sashing, and then you joint, well, the top is okay, it doesn't matter because it's the same problem even on the top, I think. Yeah. Did you notice that maybe your square the hourglasses didn't match the same seam line as your 4 patches? Let me know, yes or no. Because I have an issue. And I'm trying to figure out whether to just ignore it and go with it or come up with a plan. Hey, Christina. Welcome, welcome. So what's happened here, which means it's probably my 4 patches when I was sewing them on, and it could be because of I used 2 different sets of charm packs, and so no charm pack is alike. And so maybe they were off by 1/8 of an inch, and you know, 1/8 of an inch could add up over time. And so when I went to put my hourglass blocks on, just sashing, and then I sewed the sashing on, and I measured this block to make sure that this was the same length and this was the same length when I put the sashing on. So I knew the measurement wasn't off on the sashing, but when I went to sew the sashing together here, my blocks don't line up. My hourglass does not line up with the 4 patch. Some of them do, some of them don't. They're like off by like 1/8 of an inch. So did you run into that problem, Sherry? And if you did you leave it or did you do something about it? Wow, she's lived on her boat for 40 years, raised 4 children on the boat, homeschooled while she cruised up and down the ICW. I don't know what ICW is. And now she has
a waterway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I think we should discuss this and assess what we can do about it. Do we want to fight with the sashing this way to line it up? That's A. B, do we just want to go with the flow and don't worry about it? Or because this is supposed to be a scrappy quilt anyway. Or C, do we want to take this sashing and cut it in pieces of 4.5 inches, sew it on on each of the outside part of these blocks, and then attach them to each row of the 4 patches? Because that's what mine are off about 1/8 of an inch.
Are you putting this in a juried contest?
No.
So
I'll give you to the
perfectionism of God, is an eighth of an inch really going to matter?
No, but it bugs me.
You know what? When you were
I'm not-
holding that up, I can't see it. And you know how critical my eye is.
Well, look at it and you'll see where it's off at if you look hard enough.
Okay, I see one spot.
Not there. And then look on the long side. And both my big blocks look like that. And I don't know what in the heck. I can't hear you, Myra. Something's going
On
on.
the couch, nobody can see it. When it's thrown on a bed or thrown on a couch or covering a body, nobody will see it.
Okay. All right. All right.
Remind
Now,
me I said that when I get ready to sash all of these
yeah.
blocks.
Yeah, right. Okay. Now, the next question is, where did I go wrong with this? Was it because I wasn't paying attention to the charm packs when I cut them? Because I sewed them, I cut them, and then I re-sewed them to make the 4 patches. Maybe somewhere in that part of the progress, maybe I messed up somewhere. Because I know I did 1/4 inch seams on all of them. I'm not looking for perfection here. I just want to understand what I did wrong. And so if everybody else is having the same problem, then it's something in my math that's wrong.
Do you need vaccine?
No, don't poke me. When quilted, you won't see it. This is true. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't the only one that was having this issue. I think when it gets quilted, that might take up some of the spacing, says Linda. Okay. Because it's just enough for me to, I can see it when I'm looking at it, but if you put it far away, you really don't see it. It looks like a scrappy block. All right. Where are you? So remember I said that this sew along is slow and easy. So I still don't know when I'm going to be finished in this. I'm going to go ahead and start sewing another set of hourglass blocks together to put on the next one. Could it be that the hourglass block has more seams than the 4 patches, and that's making a difference when you're, it could be because there's a lot more seams in this, and these measure 4.5, these measure 4.5, so I don't get what the heck. Unless when you put it on the sashing makes it set wrong. You have 2 different style blocks, don't stress, says Robin. Okay. All right, I wanted to make sure y'all are aware that this is a problem. Well, you're aware of it. It may not be a problem to you, and it's just been a problem for me because I'm being ridiculous. And you know I'm not an OCD girl, but this was like, because I'm trying for us to design a quilt together that's beautiful. And I've always said I'm not out for perfection. I'm more out for being consistent. And I just wanted to make sure, y'all's blocks were not looking screwy like mine. So they would sew up differently. I would think that could be the problem, and there's nothing you can do about that, says Sherry. Okay, because I wondered if it didn't have something to do with these hourglass, the way I did it. Greetings from California. Hope everyone is doing well today, says Cindy. Hey, welcome, welcome. All right, so what we're going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and sew some more hourglasses, and we're going to add another sashing. Has anyone, Katie, don't beat yourself for the block. Okay, don't beat myself up. Okay, all right, next question. Sherry, how many blocks do you have, and have you started deciding how you're going to lay your blocks out? Because I'm pretty sure that what I plan on doing, babe, I need your help for a minute. All right. Because we're going to need another designer. Because I want to show them what I think I want to do. I really think in my brain, hold it up here. We need to line it up here where we can see what I'm going to do. Okay. So I have this going, the hourglasses are going like this on 2 sides. I think what I want to do is on the block that I put next, I'm going to put a sashing. I want to put so I would like for us to put a sashing down here between this block and the next block that I'm going to put on. And instead of making this the same same direction, I want to flip it, is what I want to do. So I'm going to turn it. So no, leave that one alone. So that this, it goes this way and this is on the bottom. So let me put this on here. You're going to imagine there's a sashing in between here. So you have this going up like this, and then it's going to go down like this. And then when we draw, I haven't decided on the size of this, but it's going to be big enough to go on the bed. So when we start the second row, this will get turned again. It'll be opposite, and you just keep turning it. And I think it would look great that way. What do y'all think? Now you can keep it all the same direction if you want to, but I think like turning it makes it more interesting. You might do what you're doing. Yeah, I might do what you're doing too, Katie, says Sherry. I still have our hourglasses to make, but I have most of the 4 patches done, and I'm going to do it where the corner hourglass on the right side, where the corner, okay, yeah, that sounds like a good plan. All right, so what I'll do now is I'm going to go ahead and start sewing these together. I'm going to pick my corner. As you see, I have you have one corner block by itself because it has a sashing on 2 sides currently. So what I've been doing is I pick one block that I think should stand out up here on that corner, and that's what I'll do. And throughout the whole process, I'll pick a color that I think will stand out amongst everything else, and that'll be my corner one. And then I'll just sew what random blocks the rest of the time. Turn it so that the 4 patches are together. When you do that, there is a secondary design. Yeah, that's what I'm shooting for. And I think when I can get a bigger, if we ever get the craft room somehow where I can do the, at least use the design board, I should be able to, or I'll just use the floor. I don't know. I don't have a German Shepherd anymore. I probably could just lay it out on the floor, and I'll figure that out, or use the bed. Anyway, I'll figure it out. But I wanted y'all to see, you know, ideas. And also, those of you doing these blocks, show them over on the Facebook group. And if you're not a Facebook user, Sherry, can you share your Discord? Because people can go to Discord and also share these blocks and your ideas of what you want to do with yours. I'd like to hear about your ideas, and especially for those who's not using Facebook, because I know there's a few of you who do not, and that's okay. I'm not knocking that whatsoever. I understand. I cannot live without Facebook. That's how I stay in contact with friends and family.
And me.
And my husband, especially when he's at sea. Because he has crappy internet access when he's at sea. I just found a straight pin on the floor. I keep dropping them. I can't believe she doesn't ever step on them.
The pins?
Yeah.
I saw them, yeah.
I know. I'm the one that always steps on them. Okay, let's get sewing. And if anyone has any questions, please ask. And those that just walked in, I had mentioned it earlier. If you see me yawning, please give me some grace. I have had 0 sleep. Couldn't sleep last night. And Nikolaj, I tell you, I tried. I even tried this morning when he got up. I just could not shut down.
Right back.
What happened?
Ran out of bobbin.
Oh, you
Be right back.
Okay. She says you're too quiet. Rita says you're too quiet. Hey, Rita, do you see what's on my sewing machine? Let's see if she can figure out what it is. It ate the orca. All right, I need a design board so I can lay this stuff out. All right. Okay, I'm gonna turn this camera around so you can see what I'm doing where it comes to laying out the blocks so you can get an idea of how I'm gonna do it. Okay, I hope this camera's being weird. Why is it vertical? should be horizontal. She says, question, let me see what is the wall purple, haha. Huh? Yeah, it's a mouth with choppers. That's right. It's a Venus flytrap made from Legos. Actually, I think it might be what's the name of that flower in the Super Mario World? I think that's what that is. I think it's from that. Because it, yeah. Here, let me show you what it looks like up close and personal here. I think this might be from the Super Mario thing. I can't remember what that flower is called. But that flower eats things. Rita, what are you talking about on the wall purple? Haha, Katie, you asked if there was any questions, so ask why is the wall purple? Answer is there's no purple. Well, yeah, I don't get humor too good. I'm sorry. My brain's broke when it comes to that.
Lack of sleep do that too.
And lack of sleep. Yep. So what is Nico creating with all those bricks? Show him a picture in your, or show him the book inside your camera, baby. Go closer. He's working on a creator set. Okay.
A simple squirrel.
All right, I'm gonna lay this block here. This camera is being creepy. All right, let me find what I'm gonna do for corner block. Let's see, I might use that one, or I already did a red one, or I could use that one maybe. So let's see which one I want to pick for the corner block. Okay, I think I'm going to choose. I think I'm going to use this dark blue and yellow as the corner block, which is going to go up here like this. So we can move this down a little bit and to this direction. Okay, so that's going to be over there. Now, what I want to do is just pick a selection here, just mix and match, or mix them up. That is, because we need 3 on the top, on the other side of the corner block, and then we need 3, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 3 on the left side of the block as well. She's, hey, Andy. Andy's here, baby.
All right. Hi, Andy.
She says, hi, I'm cleaning the house in the background. All right. Now, I'm going to use something different next to this. Let's do this. And this one has directional fabric in it.
And did you look into that Lego set that I'm telling you about?
The hardest part of a million-mile walk is the first step, Gandhi. Yep. You're right about that. And I have lots of yellow in here, looks like. Okay, let's do this way. And we can use this one over here. This one's going to be interesting. And, all right, let's use a turquoise up here with, nope. Turquoise with, no, not white either. We got any turquoise with red by any chance? No, we don't. But I could use this down here on the end and put it like that. So now we have this side to do. And I need to add one more down here. All right, let's see here. The supercar, she said.
Yep.
Okay, we have a bit of a problem here. Let's put this down here and put this over here. Yeah, let's do it like this. Then we'll put this way, and then we're going to put this like this. Okay, so now I have my hourglass. Now you're not going to see the sashing on here yet because I got to sew these blocks together. So now it looks like a mix, a big mess right now. But here's the corner block right up here. Yep. No, this is the corner block right here. So what I'll do is this will not get sewn onto anything yet. So I'll be sewing these 3 blocks together and these 3 blocks together, and then we're going to put the sashing on. Okay, and I'll set the rest of these aside. Okay, now I'm going to turn this around again and make you dizzy. So you can see what I'm, no, I don't know what's going on with this. This camera's weird. Hang on a minute. This is bugging me.
OCD bugging you.
Well, it's showing vertical and it should be showing.
Well, I have a needle here that I can tranquilize you, you know?
Look at the, never mind. You don't, because it's not going to switch whatever's going on with it. I don't know. Maybe it needs to be the other way. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure out what the problem is.
The problem is
me.
There's no problem.
I'm the problem.
Yeah.
Because I'm fooling with it. It's not laying out like I want it. Well, you can see part of the machine, I guess. Y'all, is this good enough for the camera for tonight? I don't know what's wrong with it. I'm using my other phone, and that might have something to do with it. I decided to use my newer one, and it's giving me a hard time. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to sew these 2 together and make sure that my center seam here is flush with each other. And I'm a pen user, so that's what I'll be doing to make sure that happens. So what has everybody been working on this week? We're already on Thursday. Can you believe it? Oh, while I'm thinking about it, who wants to see my battle wound? Because y'all were asking about my finger yesterday. Sherry says, Katie, or she says, I made a room that says Katie's Corner on Discord. Thank you, Sherry. If you auto rotate on, yeah, I did. I don't know why it's not turning. It looks, oh, look, it fixed it. Okay, that looks better. All right. I'm going to, remember y'all were asking about my finger, or someone did yesterday, but a lot of you know I cut my finger the other night. Cutting a hip bone off a chicken thigh. Me and the fillet knife got in a fight.
The fillet knife wins.
Yeah, the fillet knife won.
Anyway, chickens had hip bones.
Yep. Yes, my auto rotate is on, Robin. Okay, so anyway, it looks better today, but you see where I cut it at? And it went in pretty deep. But it's doing better. The swelling, the swelling's down. There still seems to be a little puffy right there, but it's doing better. It's not hurting as much. So it's healing, y'all, so you don't have to worry. We kept it dry for 3 days, and when I took a shower today, Nikolaj covered it up in plastic so that it didn't get wet, and it still ended up getting wet right at the end, but it did keep the soap and stuff off. But it's still a little bit tender, and if I try to bend it too much, I can feel it pulling on it. So I've been really trying not to do that.
Love me tender.
Love me true. Yeah, it hurts, Cindy. I mean, I don't even know exactly what I did. I mean, I was I had the knife in between the hip bone and the thigh joint where the 2 come together. And I don't know, I guess I had my finger in the wrong position or something. And when the knife slid through that joint, I'm like, uh-oh, because before I could stop the knife, it was too late. And then I'm like hollering, Nico, help! Because I was, it was a hot mess in here. He's like, uh-oh, what'd you do? I'm like, I cut myself. But that's not the first time I've cut myself when I'm cutting up chicken. I have a few cuts because of that, especially when I first started learning, when my mom was first teaching me. I cut myself a few times when I was first learning. And this cut was just stupid. I don't even know. I did something dumb. I put my finger in the way. I don't know if it's because of my eyesight or I just didn't realize I had it in the way. Y'all are quiet. It's all about Neosporin in our house. You know, we don't have Neosporin here in Greenland. Just soap and water.
Are you allowed to bring it in the country?
Yeah. I can put anything I want in my suitcase, or you can send it to me in a box. There's not a restriction on it. They just don't sell. They barely sell anything over the counter here. I mean, you can get a derivative of Tylenol, which is called paracetamol here, or a derivative of ibuprofen, which is called Neprin, right, babe?
Neprin, yeah.
Yeah, but and maybe some eye drops and nose spray. But outside of that, there's no antihistamines you can buy. It's just great. Oh, and stomach medicine called Imodium, which we all know what that is, because we have Imodium in the United States. But no alcohol, no peroxide, nothing like that.
What about drinking alcohol?
Well, I have vodka. I didn't think about using vodka.
Oh yeah, pour it right over that cut. Let it sting. Let it burn, baby, burn.
Yeah, I didn't even think about using vodka on it.
Well, I wasn't talking about using the vodka on it. I was talking about drinking it.
Oh, well. We have 2 bottles of absolute 80 proof sitting in our cold room that's been sitting in there for, golly, 10 years maybe?
Yeah.
Probably 10 years, along with that bottle of tequila, that expensive tequila I bought.
Need to bring it to Florida.
It's because I keep forgetting to look for the, because I like frozen strawberry margaritas. And I keep forgetting when I'm in the United States to buy the stuff that you make the strawberry part of it with.
All right, I give up. I have to go get some of my featherweight store tip sheets because I can't remember how to put my bobbin in. I got it out, I got it re-threaded, but I can't remember how to put it back in because I've only had to re-bobbin my featherweight. Haven't used it very much yet, so I'm still learning on Lily, and I'll be right back.
Okay, sweetie. She says those lights help her a lot, Carrie. I think that was, yeah, it was Carrie that asked that question. Hello, Face the Invader. What's your first name? And hey, Cindy Van Hoy, welcome, welcome. So what has everybody been working on? Carrie said she just finished putting her sewing machine back together after a good cleaning. Yeah, I need to take the top half of mine off and clean it really good. I wish I could find one of those little tiny vacuum cleaners that has a little tiny skinny little pipe that goes in and you go suck out all the stuff. Well, these seams are going to be a pain in the rear. I'm going to have to get the iron on them. But let me add this other block first. That way I don't get things backwards here.
It's the angst of living in 2 homes every other month. I think my tip sheets are at home with my husband. At least I have my book.
Well, the book is a good thing. Hey, Stacy, yes. Welcome, welcome. And hello, Becky. Welcome, welcome.
Thread the bobbin case.
Oh, it was Rita, not Carrie. Sorry. My eyes are like, yeah. Y'all are gonna have to, I'm tired. So just,
Okay with her.
yeah, just ignore me when I do that.
Well, I can wake her up hard way. If you want me
Part
to.
of the problem is my eyes hurt. I want to scratch them out. Is what I want to do.
Don't.
And if I touch them, it's just going to make them worse.
Worse.
That's why I wanted to take a shower to see if I couldn't just like rinse my eyeballs underneath the shower. I started sneezing at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's been nonstop, and my eyes are giving me a fit. So I think whatever's going on with my eyes is tied to me sneezing. Something, I don't know if it's something I ate or something I inhaled, but it feels like something was up my nose causing all of it. I'm gonna have to turn this around. Laugh out loud. I thought there was only one Carrie here right now. Sorry about that. Or she was playing a joke again. You're going to find out, Rita, that I don't always catch jokes. They just fly over my head. That's something that I can't do anything about. That's from things being done. I don't watch comedy because I don't get it. I don't watch things like, you know, remember how they used to have on TV America's Funniest Videos and people would get hurt? I would have to walk out of the living room because I could not watch people hurting themselves and people laughing and thinking that was funny, because to me, it wasn't funny.
Yeah, I've tripped too many times. I don't think that's funny either.
No, I don't. Sherry says, I sent you some Tylenol, head, cold, and flu medicine. Yay, and Benadryl. All right. Can't wait to get the Benadryl, man. Yeah, it's ridiculous because my allergies are, or whatever this is I have going on, is driving me up the wall. And I'm not having, it's weird. Some of the sneezing will trigger my asthma and some of it didn't. Last night was not about my asthma. Last night was about something else, but I don't know what this something else was. And Rita, I answered your email, by the way. Okay. Stacy says, I figured out the tube one, no problem, but panel one, arg. Angie's been making some really, what was the name of the origami you made last night, Andy? The big one.
If I'm not mistaken,
You probably knew what it was, didn't you?
Carolina.
I think she's, yeah, I think she said Carolina or whatever her name is.
Coraline.
Coraline.
That's
Isn't that from a cartoon?
Yep, it's a cartoon character.
Isn't it from one of those emo kind of cartoons?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Dark history about it, but it's good.
That's what I mean. It's a little bit on the dark side. I figured Andy would appreciate my little monster sitting on top of my sewing machine.
If you have noticed it, Andy.
I don't know if she noticed it or not. She may have. Or she can't really tell what it is, one, because the camera's being weird tonight. It could be the fact that I have a blue blouse on. I don't know. Stop the asthma talk. You wake mine up again, laugh out loud. Yes, I'm joking again, says Carrie. You have asthma too. Wow. I know Rita does. I have it. I was born with it. Man, did you see my little rant on my Facebook, Myra?
About what?
About the EPA being dissolved.
What? Oh. EPA for where?
The entire United States.
Environmental Protection Agency?
Yes.
No.
So the EPA was not around until after the late 1960s, and the EPA was started because of all the smog that was going on in Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, places in Florida, places in Louisiana. I think Alabama was on there because it was north some big city in Alabama. The north side of it was corrupted with air pollution. And so the EPA started passing laws that said that they had to clean up their act. And so that because people had a right to breathe fresh air and have fresh water to drink. And it's about to be torn away.
Where did you see that?
I watched a House of Representatives meeting that went live, and they were questioning some of the senators or representatives were questioning someone about it, and they were showing pictures of what it looked like in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and asking why you want to take the United States back to that state. It was pretty crazy. So it was actually true what was going on because it was being discussed in the House of Representatives. And I watched it today. And boy, I got feisty about it because all of us, those of us who have asthma, I can't speak for everybody that's an asthmatic, but I was born with it. So I did nothing to cause my asthma. And when you go somewhere where pollution is really bad, it triggers our asthma where we can't breathe. I'm a 70s kid. My mom was a chain smoker her entire life, says Carrie. Yeah, my dad was too, and he smoked in the house. So I often think that maybe because he was a smoker and he smoked those nasty Pall Mall cigarettes, which are one of the worst kinds, he kept my mom and me inflamed with our asthma. And he didn't care. Because he thought asthma was a mental thing, not an actual health issue. And so, there's children that'll be breathing dirty air if this goes through, and drinking dirty water. When I saw a couple of the pictures, there was one of, and I think it was Brooklyn, and couldn't have been Brooklyn. It was one of the New York towns up near Manhattan where that was near the ocean. And the whole ocean front was full of tires that were just thrown out there. It was just, I didn't realize it was that bad back in I don't have any memory of that because I guess I was too young. Because I was born in 62, so any of this EPA stuff that they were discussing back then, I guess I was just too young to know about it. I remember when I was in elementary school, we were taught about pollution and stuff and how to clean it up and all that kind of stuff. Because I remember doing that.
I remember the Indian with the tear going down his face.
Yeah. I remember that too.
That was a horrible commercial. Made me so sad.
One such thing is the EPM museum that taxpayers are being charged for is being closed, not the actual EPA. This is not about that, Rita. This is about the actual EPA. It's not about the museum. Because that's what I forget what it's called when they bring people before the House of Representatives. It's called something. I can't remember what it's called, but I was like, wow, they're talking about that. They want to keep California from moving toward total electric cars. So the administration wants to put a law against them doing it. There was that discussion today too.
Well, electric cars are no good in a flood. I'm just saying.
Well, there's got to be a better way, Myra. Can't live off fossil fuel forever. It's going to run out. And Greenland's not going to let them come over here and get the oil.
Fragile ecosystem.
Yes,
Right.
we do. It's very fragile. And we're seeing how fragile it really is. There's been a lot of new Greenland videos that's gone up from tourists that's been, a lot of them are from last year, and they're just showing up now, which is strange. And I think it's showing up because people are just now getting around to posting them that went on cruises. And one of them went to the same ice cap that I talked about with y'all, that I showed you pictures of, that I had pictures from 2012, 2015, 2017, 2024, and a video of 2024. And the guy was talking about, he says, I can see where the ice cap used to be because of how clean the rock was. And he says that he made the comment that it was extraordinary because where did the ice go? I'm like, it all melted into the fjord. That's where it went. We had, what day was it? We had 55-degree temperatures 3 days ago or yesterday? Because it was 17 degrees.
19 yesterday.
Oh, it was 19 yesterday. We had 19 degrees Celsius yesterday.
Fahrenheit, Fahrenheit.
I can't look. Hang on.
Probably
I don't have access to my phone because I'm using my phone.
probably about 50 degrees.
It should be, no, because 50 is at, hang on, I'll just go look it up. Hold on. I can't do the math in my head. If Sean was in here, he could tell you.
So,
C2F.
so what does Olaf say about summer?
Who?
Olaf from
Who's
the
Olaf?
movie Frozen.
Frozen, movie Frozen.
That'd lay in the sun and he'd be
Come look at what that is, honey. It's warmer than I thought it was. That's why this house was so dang hot.
Ooh.
what?
It was 19 degrees outside Celsius, which is 66.2 degrees.
Having a heat wave, a tropical heat
We're having North Florida spring weather, man.
66 at night here yesterday because we just had a bad thunderstorm.
Yeah, well, when you have 66 degrees outside in the daylight when the sun doesn't go down.
6 degrees here right now.
Yeah, right now it's 6. So let me see what 6 degrees is. But we have fog coming across the lake, which drops the temperature. So 6 degrees would be 42.8 degrees. So when the fog comes down between, there's this valley on one side of the, what is that? That's not the north. What is that? East or west? West. So on the west side of the lake, there's these two mountains that come down and it drops down like this, and there's like this little valley, and we've hiked this area, so you can go through the valley all the way to the fjord if you want to get that far. So what happens is it pushes the warm air builds up because it's so warm here, and you have the ice cap, and you have the atmosphere, and you have the water temperature, and all this creates this really big, huge fog bank that looks like a worm, and it comes through that valley and snakes itself across the lake. And it literally looks like a snake almost. And it's really thick and you can't see through it. And when it starts to move its way this way, it starts dropping the temperature with it. What time is it? Oh.
3:12 my time.
I have sewn 3 of these together now. Let me show it to you. And I got to go press them in a minute. So here's the first 3. Now what I got to do is sew the other 3 together. And these little seams are like so small. We have 46 in Stockholm and it's 10 p.m. Yes, yesterday it stayed, let's see, it dropped down to 42 when the sun got behind the mountain, didn't it? Yeah, so it was around 42 when it dropped behind the mountain, but it didn't, the sun is getting longer. We're getting closer to summer solstice now. Summer solstice is on June the 21st, and that'll be our longest day, and it'll be 22 hours of daylight.
And it will be our national day.
And it's also Greenland's national day. And as always, my husband will be not here for it.
I'll be with my mistress.
Yep, he's going back to his mistress, what, 3 days?
2 days.
2 days before National Day. So he's returning to his mistress.
See you, Nico, darling.
She's spinning smooches your way, baby.
Well, you said he's coming to his mistress. I'd be the only other one. Oh, that's right. Wait, it's the ship. I got it. Never mind.
It's the ocean that's his mistress. I think he could live on a boat 24/7 if he owned one. Hey, Robin. Oh, thank you, Robin. Hey, Sandy. Sorry. My eyeballs are... These are a hot mess, let me tell you. I should have made these a little bit bigger and then trimmed down. I'm quiet because I'm actually sewing today, says Myra.
Laura's saying it's 104 in Gilbert with a real feel of 112.
Golly, that sounds so
I
hot.
remember those days in Las Vegas, Laura.
I don't know if I could tolerate those all the time.
In Las Vegas, there wasn't humidity back in the 80s because there weren't as many trees and fountains downtown, and it was still pretty darn dry. So Las Vegas is the only place I can get an actual tan from the sun. I know we're not supposed to, but anywhere else I sweat, and so I bubble up and peel. But out in Vegas, it was so dry in the 80s that I could just actually get brown, which is saying something for a Scots Irish English lass.
Nikolaj turns 10 when he's in Florida.
Yep. So the Inuit in him.
That Inuit makes his skin turn.
You got that right. Blessed man.
Yep. I'm just a white girl that doesn't tan. I tan a little bit, but not enough to matter, you know. And I've never been the type to get out and worship the sun trying to turn my skin. After having 2nd-degree sunburns up here on the upper part of my back at the base of my neck, nope. It wasn't worth it. All because I wore a shirt that was too low and I was out in the sun repotting seedlings into bigger pots and didn't think anything about my skin. And I paid the price for that one. Big time
When
price.
we came back from Alaska, I spent a week with my best friend in Fort Walton Beach because they had come home earlier.
Yeah.
And I was wearing a, I was 14, so I was wearing a bikini, and the top of my chest got so burnt that I later had skin cancer right where I got all that burnt.
I worried about getting skin cancer after having 2nd degree. Because 2nd degree, you get blisters.
Yeah, that's what I had.
And that's the worst kind of thing to happen because it is painful.
Yep, it was. But you come back from Alaska or back in the 80s, most people didn't have sun lamps. Or if they did, they only used them for their face. They didn't have body, tanning beds back then, unless they were uber rich, and we weren't. And so we came back whiter than a piece of paper.
Wow.
Seriously, that's how I found my sister in the pool when we drove back. I would open my eyes underwater and just look for the whitest pair of legs, and I'd know it was her, and I'd run and grab her. Yeah, it was great.
You can actually get a little bit of a sunburn here. I mean, I on my hands a couple times I have, because I was out in the sun all day doing city tours, but now I don't do city tours anymore. Oh, speaking of touring, this ship canceled for Saturday. It was going to be our first work day, and it got canceled, all because there's ice down in Nanotalik, which is 3 hours away from us, and so they chickened out.
Well, they got to try to be safe.
But there's no ice here.
Well, I hear you.
This happens a lot. They see ice and they think it's like right next door to our town, when it's not. It's like 3 hours away.
Well, they have no base of reference, sis. They should.
But I think working Sunday, so far that one hasn't been canceled yet. Do you know how many? Oh my God. I'm going to tell you, do you know how many cruise ships we are going to have in August? I wrote them in the calendar, so because I needed to make sure that any of these tours, if they were in the morning and I had lives, I needed to make sure, or a pre-record, I needed to make sure that should I get called to work, I can do something about it, especially because I have a live on a Sunday morning. And one of these cruise ships just happens to land on that Sunday morning I'm doing with Sean. Nick, for June. Okay, so we have in August 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 in August.
So what are you going to be doing with them?
Well, if they're doing tours, I'll be doing the tannery. That's my new job. That's been my job for the last 2 years, and she already told me I'll be doing the tannery this year. So that's my job now. She took I guess she's given the city tours to some of the younger ones. She's my boss is funny. She just throws you under the bus. You sink or swim. And I think that's kind of the Greenlandic way, isn't it, honey?
I think so.
Because that's how you learn. And I got
Floridian, you're gonna swim.
Well, yeah, When she told me I was doing the tannery, I'm like, but. She says, what? I said, I don't know the difference between any of those sealskin. She says, you will before it's over with. And you know what? I can now label, I can tell you all. There's 6 hanging up on the wall. And out of the 6, I can tell you what 5 of them are now. Without getting, the 2 that I kept getting backwards was the 2 on the far left. Because they look so close to each, they look almost similar. I was getting the heart seal and the harvest seal backwards. But now I don't even get them backwards now. I pretty much know what they are. But they haven't put, they discovered there's a new species of seal over on the East Coast that they weren't aware was there, and it's a native. And they haven't put I guess people haven't been hunting them yet, or they haven't, no one sold skin, they've kept the skin. So before anyone says anything about seal skin hunting or seal hunting, they hunt for seals for food. Seal skin is a secondary product from hunting seal because Greenlanders do not waste anything. So if a hunter's been hunting seal for 50 years, it only makes sense that he would sell the seal skin, because why does he need so many skins in his house? Right. And because they're taught to waste not and to respect nature, or back then it was mother of the sea, because she'll get angry and you won't find nothing to eat. So this is how they respect it. Now he likes seal meat. Man, I cannot stand the taste or the smell of it. You can forget it, honey.
Chicken.
That was hilarious watching that guy try to eat seal meat on the video. he gagged right there on the video. It was hilarious. I'm like, that's what I would do, just taking a smell of it. Now, whale meat, on the other hand, when he got offered raw whale meat and he tried, he's like, and he thought it was going to taste like seal. And when he realized, oh, wait, that's not so bad. I'm like, no, it's not. I can eat
What
that.
does
Like
it taste like?
whale? The only way you know, because you don't, where you live at, do you ever smell the ocean?
Well, sure.
You know how when your nose first picks up that first scent of the ocean? Especially if you've been away from it and then you're getting back within close enough that that's the first thing you notice is your nose smells it before you ever see it. The only way for me to describe whale meat is it's tender like beef tenderloin. It's clean. I mean, it's so clean. That's another way of describing it. And it tastes like the ocean, but I don't mean like seawater. That smell you get in your nose, it's so pure. It tastes like that. It's hard for me to explain it, but it's the cleanest.
The texture.
The texture is tender like tenderloin, but the taste is so fresh and clean. It's amazing.
Is it oily?
No. They eat blubber. I do not. I'm not eating whale fat. No thanks.
Well,
And
I
no
don't
one
eat chicken fat, so I daggum sure wouldn't eat whale fat.
Well, I'll eat
So
chicken
what
fat.
does seal taste like?
I don't know. I'm not eating it because I can't stand the smell of it. You know, I have gone to the hospital to pick my medicine up, and when you walk in the door, you're like, they're making seal because it has that certain odor about it. And then what they're doing is making seal soup for the sick people in the hospital, and it permeates the entire hospital. And when I was in Nuke in the hospital, you know, there's 2 or 3 times I was up there at that hospital staying, they would come in there, we're having seal tonight. Are you going to be okay like that? I'm like, no. And they're
So
like,
you
that
haven't
was
even
a fast
tried
no.
it?
I'm not going to try. How can I explain this properly? I cannot stand red meat, number one, to be boiled in any form, fashion. That includes beef stew. When my mother made beef stew, and my mom was a good cook, and her beef stew was not bad. I just didn't like it.
Brown her meat first?
Huh?
She didn't brown her meat first for beef stew?
Did all of that. I just don't like it like that. I don't like chili, so I don't eat chili. I don't eat beef stew. I don't eat vegetable soup. No, I just don't eat any of that. Put liver
More
and
for
onions.
us, Nico. More for us, babe.
Put liver and onions in front of me, I will gag.
You know what? As long as I don't have to cook it and see it raw, if you put it cooked in front of me and I actually go to a certain restaurant to order it because I can't cook it or look at it raw, but if you put it before me cooked, oh, I'm so happy.
My parents force-fed us that stuff. Force-fed us liver and onions, force-fed squash. But
With onions? Oh, that's so good. And a little bit of oil?
wrong texture.
Oh, no, 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 no. Good Southern food there.
Oh, no.
What do y'all think? I haven't looked at the chat for a while.
I'm sure lots of people like squash cooked that way, but I don't. Wait a minute. Someone said something about trophy. As long as you use what you kill, that is the circle kill. That is what the circle of life is. I only get upset when we see trophy hunting. There is no trophy hunting here. And there is trophy hunters from the United States that come over here and hunt muskox. But let me tell you how this works with that. It's not, you know how you know trophy hunting in Africa goes? It's different than trophy hunting here. So here's what happens with muskox. They have to pay a ton of money. I don't know how much. I just know an exorbitant amount of money. They spend several days in an education. Then a game warden takes them to where muskox is, and he says, you can only shoot that one animal. None of the rest. You do not get to pick the animal. I'm picking the animal for you. Then after he dispatches the muskox, then the game warden says, you get to keep 10 kilos of the meat. You can have the horns and you can have the skin. However, you get to tote that entire muskox back to the town, and the rest of that meat's going to go to the locals. The game warden does not carry any of the muskox. The hunter does, because they're teaching respect of nature. And that trophy hunting is not what Greenland's about.
But you can tell Maro your first taste of whale beef.
Yeah, you mean the steaks?
Yeah.
Torben's so funny. You know, Torben's the one that got me eating salmon and whale steak. First it was salmon because we had this. I would go off with this when Nikolaj would be at sea. Him and his wife would invite me out to sea with them. And one day Torben says, "How come you never asked for salmon when we were salmon fishing?" And I'm like, "Because I don't like salmon." And he says, "Why not?" And I told him what happened, and he's like, "Oh my God, really?" I said, "Yes." So what happened was when I came for a visit, the first visit right before we got married, we were invited to Nikolaj's aunt's house. They were celebrating Christmas, and there was all of this food everywhere, and everybody kept coming up. Here, try this. Here, try this. Here, try this. And Nikolaj's just standing there watching me, and I'm being a real trooper until someone shoved salmon in my face. That was the worst salmon. I mean, I literally almost embarrassed myself. And Nikolaj's like, y'all need to stop, because he could see I was not comfortable.
Nikolaj,
He could tell something wasn't right.
how was it cooked?
She cooked it in the oven, didn't she?
Yep.
But she cooked it badly, put it that way. The minute it got within my nose range, all I could smell was that fishy fish smell that you're not supposed to smell on fish. And so I totally automatic shut down there, you know. So when I told him what happened, he says, "I tell you what, I will make a challenge." It was kind of like a challenge. "But if you choose to not follow through, I'm not going to get mad. But I guarantee you, if you sit down at the dining table with me and I make you some salmon my way, and we're going to have curry with it and rice, and I don't remember what else he made." And he says, "I guarantee you, you will love it, but I won't force you to eat a big bite. I'll just put a tiny piece on your plate and let you try it." So he made it his way, and he put it on my plate. And I'm staring at it, and Nikolaj's looking at me. "Come on, give it a try. I promise you it's not as bad as you think it is." And when I took, and he dribbled curry over the top of the salmon. And when I tasted it, it was like, oh my God, it was good. I couldn't believe it. It didn't have that fishy taste to it. It didn't have that strong taste that I had experienced that over at his aunt's house. And it was truly amazing. And then what he did next is he showed me how to make it here at home. And so I learned how to do both the curry and how to cook the salmon. And now I've been branching out with my salmon and cooking it in the oven a little bit. I can poach it and it tastes good. Last night we had salmon actually for dinner. I was going to share a picture with y'all. I haven't done it yet. But we had salmon with curry and rice last night. And it was yummy. And it was big piece. And so, and as far as the whale is concerned, Torben says, "Have you ever eaten a whale meat?" I said, I'm not eating this whale meat the way my husband makes it. He says, "What do you mean?" I said, "He boils it." He's like, "Yeah, okay, I get it." He says, so he invited us over for dinner, and he made whale steaks, and he made a brown sauce to go with it, and I don't remember what else he made with it.
Probably onions.
It was onions and something else, wasn't it, babe?
But I was at sea when they tried it.
Was you?
Yep.
Oh, that's right, because when I told you, you were shocked. So he says, I'll do the same things I do with you. I'm only put a little piece on your plate and I'm not going to force you. And you can take a little bite. And if you don't like it, then we're done. We won't discuss this. We will not revisit this. He absolutely wasn't going to force it. And when I took a bite of it, I'm like, oh, it was interesting the first bite. I love curry. When I first started doing curry, I couldn't decide if I hated it or if I liked it, Andy. But I discovered that when I smell curry, it triggers my appetite. It's the interesting effect that happens with it. And Carrie says, I love squashmallow. You can have your liver and onions.
Liver ain't that bad.
Ew, it's gross.
Oh, you
It's the most bitter tasting thing on the planet.
You sissies.
Our dog won't even eat liver.
Y'all?
Yeah? I can't hear you. Say it again. Still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
I
So
do.
I would try any of it.
Oh.
I've
Well,
even purposed in my heart, I'm going to try black pudding and haggis.
ew. Do you
Hey,
know what do you know
I'm
what
not
my,
gonna- I'm
my-
not going to think about it. I'm just going to try it.
Nope, not me. Nope.
Well, unfortunately, being raised from 10 to 14 outside Anchorage, where you got to get your own salmon free of just for the taking and pull up your own snow crabs in your own bucket, in your own the pots. Yeah. Unfortunately, you come back to the lower 48 and it's not the inexpensive product that it was when you lived up there.
Oh,
And
it's
so
like they were talking on the live somewhere else last night, and they were talking about how expensive seafood was. And I'm like, seafood here is cheap. It's everything else is expensive. Because we could just go out in nature during the summer months, and it's getting close. We're going to be going out on the boat with Torben and Ellie, and we'll come back with cod one of the sails, and on another sail it'll be salmon. And I'm hoping he gets a reindeer so that I can have a little bit of the meat from that, because we haven't had reindeer but once in the last 2 years, I think. And I really like reindeer.
it's like Florida small deer.
No, it doesn't taste anything like Florida deer.
Does it taste like caribou or moose?
I don't know what caribou tastes like, but I think reindeer is close to being caribou. But it's very tender and it doesn't have a gamey taste because they don't run the deer here like you do in Florida. My dad was a still hunter when he hunted Florida deer, and he would get feisty about people running dogs and running deer. Because, the meat gets tainted by the deer running for its life.
Yeah.
Because adrenaline kicks in and it ruins the meat.
Yeah.
Here, the deer look at you like, who are you? They're not even afraid, really.
Oh, they're gonna run all right.
They'll run, but they just don't. As soon as they get sight of a boat, they don't haul butt. The first time I saw them do the deer thing, we were pulling up and this deer was standing on the side of the fjord and he was just staring at us. And Torben, he stood up in the seat of his boat, had one foot on the steering wheel. He come through the top of the roof of the boat with his rifle, and he took the deer down while the boat was still moving. It was hilarious. And then one night, was it 2 summers ago, babe, when we got that reindeer when I was with them by myself?
I think so.
So we're sitting there eating dinner and talking, and the boat's because the boat's sitting idle, so you can hear the engine running a little bit. It's a low running noise it makes. And I'm looking out the window and I'm like, hey, Torben, isn't that a reindeer over there? And where we were at, you don't normally see reindeer. And he looked and he's like, You're right. And it was a big buck. He had a big rack on it. And he's like, I don't know what's going to happen when I go stick my head out the back of that boat. The deer just stood there looking at us. He never moved until Torben hit the trigger, and then he moved. And Torben thought he didn't get him. And then when the deer slid down the side of the further down the mountain, he's like, okay, I need to get over there before it falls, because he was going to fall in the water is what was going to happen. And he didn't need that to happen. And we came home with deer meat that weekend. They butchered it all weekend. I did. She said I didn't have to help because I didn't know how to butcher it. And I went hiking, and I was sitting on top of a mountain watching her butcher the meat. It was fun.
Well, Mr. Wonderful is, but the only thing is he does not hunt.
Well,
So I don't get deer meat very often. And boy, when I get it, man, I'm so appreciative.
Yeah, because
You can't just buy it.
Yeah, you can't go to the store and get it. That's right.
Nope.
Every now and then you might see some reindeer. Is it Pacific or Bruceland we've seen it in?
Yeah.
It's one of the stores. Sometimes in a blue moon, but it's so pricey, and you really don't know what part of Greenland it was hunted in, or how it was handled before it made it to the store. And I'm a little leery about it because I'm used to getting it fresh, and I have been very spoiled by all this fresh stuff we get. Okay, it's fun to be spoiled by this stuff.
Flounder.
Flounder, I've had flounder, halibut, cod, snow crab. Those are snow crabs, right? That crab is called snow crab, right?
Yeah.
Snow crabs. What else have I had? Shrimp, northern Atlantic shrimp. Well, muskox. I've eaten muskox. I love lamb. I never had lamb until I moved here. I like duck a lot. Enough that I like to buy it often enough to make it for us. We had lamb the other night too. You know what we did is we took I bought a leg of lamb, and we took it off the bone, and then kind of like butterfly style. And then what I did is I sauteed finely chopped mushrooms until they turned a golden brown color. And then I added in shallots and onions and sauteed them until they were soft. And I put in spinach and just gently sauteed that and then I mixed it all together and seasoned it really well. And then we had the meat laid out, and we stuffed it in there and rolled it up and put it in the oven on 180, which is 350 degrees in US measurements. Cooked it for 25 minutes, and oh my God, it was so tasty. Hey, Pat.
Can you hear me? What about Rabbit?
Yeah, I hear you now. You keep going in and out. There's something going on with your laptop.
Me, and I thought it was movement, so I would wave my arms, but it's not movement. I don't know why, but my question is, what about Rabbit? Do you guys get Rabbit?
Yeah, he sometimes he hunts for rabbit, and also something called a mountain bird, which is like a grouse. Usually when he's out hunting mountain bird, he ends up coming back with rabbit too, but I've not eaten rabbit. In fact, I've never eaten rabbit in my life.
Good. Sorry, y'all. I grew up with a dad that hunted and grandparents that hunted and fished. And
I don't think you have to
Pat, she started at 2 Central.
Yeah, which was 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I started an hour early.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Don't shoot me. I'll shoot you.
I love you, honey.
Love you too.
You know I do. You're my life. Okay, now I've got, here's the other set of 3. So now I have 2 sets. Ooh, and this is very hot. Now what I'm going to do is take a look at the measurements of this block before I start putting sashing on. Let me make sure we're still right on text, especially with the hourglass. Here. Yep, it's the same, which is kind of funny to me. All right. Now what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add this short sashing on to this piece first. Okay. Myra, your voice keeps going in and out, says Pat. Robin says, I do not eat crab. They eat the garbage off the ground. And yeah, I went live at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is what I did. Robin says, haggis is gross stuffed in a lung. My mother would eat hoghead cheese and chitlins, and I would want to go throw up watching her eat that. But that's how she was raised because they were a very poor family.
My mom ate that stuff too, but yeah, I could not do it. Could not do it. Won't do it.
So Nikolaj gets a big, Nikolaj and the crew, when we were sailing from here to Denmark, one night they had a whole lamb's head. Have you ever seen a whole lamb's head? It has the eyeballs and the brains and everything in it. And they were sitting there and they were having fun at my expense because they're like, come on, come have some with us. And I'm like, let me go throw up.
Yeah, that's not fun.
It was pretty funny because they were having fun at my expense.
Well, she was green on board.
Well, I started out green on it, that's for sure.
Yep.
My goodness, my tummy was giving me a fit. It's just because when the ship would rock like this, Myra, I get motion sickness. If it's doing this, I don't have any issue with it.
You just turn your body? Can't you turn your body so that then it's...
I'm sorry, but my brain can't. Yeah, it knows it's rocking sideways. Sometimes when I'm on Torben's boat and when we're going from one part of a fjord to another fjord, we have to cross over the Atlantic and over open water. And if it's a bit choppy, it'll make the boat not only bounce up and down because he's doing 26 knots, but it'll rock sideways. And I'm like, really, Torben? I'm going to throw up all over you. And he just laughs at me. He thinks it's funny. But this last time I was out with him last year, I saw Ellie get a little bit green a couple times when we were over on open water. I'm like, I'm glad I'm not the only one that has an issue with open water.
Sorry. I went on okay, I'm not green yet, so you can't hear me. Hang on. There we go. I'm green. I went on a Gulf of Mexico tour fishing cruise with my dad and my granddad and my mother's oldest brother and his 2 sons. And I was the only girl that went. And I was probably, let's see, I was probably 15 because we were back from Alaska. And I'm the only one that didn't get sick. And I didn't take any meds either. But I will get a little queasy now on certain rides. So I know that I'm no longer that hardy.
Well, when we were sailing, Tordor, who was the first mate back then, after they had a little fun with me talking about I didn't have sea legs, he comes in there, he says, do you want me to end your suffering? And I'm like, what do you plan on doing about it? He says, I have medicine for it. And I'm like, you waited till now to say something about medicine? And after, I guess, 30 minutes, the nausea went away. And by, what was it, day 3, I had my sea legs?
Yep.
And I wasn't taking medicine anymore. It wasn't bugging me. But, if you don't go all the time, you get back to that lack of sea legs because Torben can see it on my face sometimes. my auntie and uncle made hog head sausage. That stinks. It's so disgusting. It is, Robin. I'm like, I don't know how anyone eats that. It's gross. Nikolaj likes to eat. What is that pate made out of?
Liver pate.
It's liver pate. He likes eating it, and I'm like, that is really gross, honey. But you know, my dad had weird eating things too. He liked taking a whole onion, taking the skin off, cut it in half, get him some white bread, take mayonnaise and spread it on the white bread and fold it in half, get a can of canned tomatoes and crack that open and sit there and eat the bread, dip the tomatoes out of the can and take a bite of raw onion. And I'm like, but I think I kind of have a little bit of a pinch on about onions like he did, because I like taking onions and finely dicing them and mixing them with ketchup and mustard, toasting my bread, frying beef bologna, and smacking all that together. And my kids are like, Mom, you're really gross.
Well, if you've been eating that without liver pate outside,
yeah.
If you've been living that, if you've been eating that for a long time, you'll get used to it. I tried the American last time I was in California, but it wasn't that for me.
Yeah, you said you didn't like it, didn't you?
I didn't like it very much because it's not the same.
Yeah. Countries, different countries. Yeah, different countries make it different. Yep. It's like we finally found a hot dog that I actually like over here, and I stumbled on it recently because I just don't care for most of the hot dogs and stuff, and they don't have sauces like you and I are used to having. So it's like when I go to the United States, I make sure I at least buy sausage once and cook it. But when I come back to the States this next go around, I'm going to find fresh okra and make me a skillet full of fried okra. And I'm going to sit there and chow out on that thing.
Fried okra. I had fried okra and fried green tomatoes night before last.
My mom loved fried green tomatoes. Let's see if I missed anything. That's why I'm late. Didn't get, Pat, several people said they didn't get a notice, so I don't know why. I actually posted it. If you look over on my community tab, you'll see where I posted about it. I did do that. I did that. It was last night, wasn't it, honey?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was. I think. I don't remember now. Because I didn't sleep. So, yeah.
Praying so much for the moment.
Pat says she loves fried bologna. It's so good. Yep, me too. And I like frying hot dogs like you do bologna too. We had the hot dogs that we discovered that are good. We cooked them on the grill, and oh my goodness, they were so yummy.
Thing on the grill is yummy.
Yep. Sylvia says a stressed animal tastes different. Yes, it does.
You're right, babe.
It doesn't taste good when it's stressed out. You are so right. We're coming along on this. I need to cut another sashing though, looks like. I thought I had 2 cut. What did I say this was? 12.5 inches? Yep, that's what I said. I need to cut this 12.5. And I'm going to have to do it here because I can't do it over there. All right, stuff's got to get moved. I'm going to move the camera for a minute, you guys, because I have to cut here. Because the cutting board in the where Nikolaj is being used. All right. Let me get the. All right. I thought I had another 12.5 inch piece, but apparently not. The sashing, in case anybody doesn't know the width of it, it is 1 inch. Because you'll end up with a 1/2 inch sashing. And then the little short sashing is going to be 4.5 inches. Here's 2 of those, so I might as well cut these down to 4.5 inches while I'm at it. And get that over with. Because we're going to need one anyway. And I might be able to get a... Uh-oh. I must need to... Okay, got that. Now let me see if this is 4.5 or not. Nope. But if I open it up, it will be. Can get another piece out of it. So let's go ahead and do that now because I'm going to need it anyway. All right.
Well, your body reacted to the milk steak, so.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but seal in there's a reason why the Arctic people eat seal and whale. It's because they're high in specific types of nutrients, and one of them is niacin, and because it controls body heat. And when you eat whale meat or seal meat, your body temperature is kicked in, and so you have heat coming off of you. So whenever Nikolaj would eat whale meat and crawl in bed with me, it's like I had a personal heater. And when I experienced it, because I knew I was sensitive to niacin because when I was pregnant with Lynette, I was seeing a chiropractor because I was having trouble with my left hip and my lower back. It was being weird. And so I was going to chiropractor and he suggested taking niacin while I was pregnant. Oh my God. I had a allergic reaction to it. And my skin turned this red color. And I made the mistake of thinking that if I got in the shower to try to cool my skin off, it would work, and it made it worse. It was like I had instantaneous hives. And so I was burning up and itching at the same time. And when I went back to see the chiropractor and I told him what happened, he's like, uh-oh, you're sensitive to niacin.
Meat? That's a different matter.
So yeah, in the meat, you're not getting a high dose of it. That stuff he prescribed was high dose of it, and I just couldn't tolerate it.
I know, but why? My body...
To the meat that has it in it.
Yeah, the whale meat and seal meat has it in it. Yep. And the blubber too, right, babe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why after I have eaten it, I burn her up in bed.
So that, and if they eat whale meat and seal meat at sea, it helps them stay warmer while they're working out. Because when he's on the boat, Nikolaj runs the deck. He's the boss of the deck. So he's out in the elements.
Yep.
And so there's no escape. You cannot, yeah. So you have to eat stuff that helps your body moderate heat. And they eat a lot of potatoes too. Seafood is expensive here, but we're paying the fishermen, not the store. I'm so thankful that I get to go out and get ours. Sherry says, y'all are sick. Because Robin says Elvis loved fried bologna, peanut butter, and banana sandwiches. Oh, the stories we could tell. Here's a funny one, and I know you've heard me some of y'all have heard me talk about this. When my mother would have us out picking peas and okra and stuff, and she would have us helping her shell the peas and beans and stuff. And she'd come out there and she'd get all over my case because I'm sitting there as I'm shelling peas and cleaning up the okra to get it ready for her to do what she's going to do with it. I'm sitting there munching on all of it. She's like, stop eating the peas and the okra, or we're never going to get any of it in the freezer. Your food concoction, says Sherry. Oh, I have more. Let's see, what else what other concoctions do I like to do that you have never had before? You definitely like my vegetable stir fries. And I'm always doing something interesting with those. Nikolaj has ate more green stuff during our marriage than he has his entire life. Sylvia says it's good to hear you laugh. Oh, thank you. Because when we first got together, he never had you ever eaten broccoli?
Hardly.
Yeah, he said hardly. His was, I don't like broccoli. I'm like, come on, try mine. And he did. He tried. He's like, okay, yours tastes good. And then I started experimenting with haricots and spinach and cauliflower rice and mushrooms and onions, and I made him gumbo one time and it had okra in it, and he didn't even flinch with that. He's like, oh, this is good, because I put chicken and shrimp in the gumbo. Okra, I tried it once and it was like eating snot. Yeah, somebody didn't cook it right, Robin. When you eat fried okra, it's not like that. It's crunchy, yummy. It helps understanding the cost of food. Yes, it does. I think children's education should include self-sustenance. Yeah, everybody needs to learn how to grow their own food. How to raise a few chickens so that you can have eggs. See, I grew up on a little farm because my mother was growing a garden. They had pigs, chickens, calves. Every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning when we lived in Christmas, Florida, we were up at 5 o'clock helping my mom bottle feed calves that they had bought. And when she went into labor with my brother and grandma from Alabama came down, she had our butts up at the crack of dawn doing the same thing. Like, while your mom is in the hospital, you're going to bottle feed all these babies. And we used to ride the pigs. And let me tell you what, pigs buck worse than a horse does. And they don't mind tossing you into the fence.
As long as it's not electric.
No, it was heavy duty fence, because you have to have that for pigs. Because they're escapees.
Like I am.
Electric fence for his hogs.
Huh?
Papa had electric fence for his hogs.
I don't know that my dad ever used electric fence. He just put in really good fencing. And then told us kids not to be crawling over the top of it. Go through the gate if you're going to go in there. My mom had this sow that it was a red rock, and that sow probably weighed 500 pounds. She was so big. But Mama got her so she could make a breeder for piglets, so she could sell piglets. That pig loved my mother. She would start screaming because her pig pen was at the back of the orange grove where we were living at when we lived in Chuliota, and because the garden was in front of the orange grove, so you had to walk through the orange grove to get to the pig pen. And at 5 o'clock every afternoon, she knew when Mom had come home, and she'd be up on her hind legs with her front legs on the gate, screaming at the top of her lungs like, come feed me, please, and pet me. And my mom would go down there and do that. She just adored my mom.
Right.
My mom gave her to someone who had a ranch because she, when we moved to, I just think, she couldn't take her where we moved next to. And later she had the guy that she gave her to contact mom and says, you know, when we turned that pig out on that open field, she got mean. Mom's like, what do you mean? She won't let anyone touch her. She'll charge them. And that pig had never been mean in her life. Something about freedom, I guess. Or she missed my mother one. Because my mom had raised her from a piglet. It's too late for medicine if you're nauseous, says Sylvia. Okay, it helps to understand the cost of food. I read that already. They rather enjoy it. My mom had the biggest gardens. Even when she moved to Lake City, she tried to have a garden in the backyard. And then one day she stopped doing it and resorted to having big, huge plastic flower pot containers, and she would grow her mustard greens and collard greens and turnip greens in those. I'm trying to think if she grew anything else in them. Don't think so. Because during the summer months, she used to grow corn and beans and peas and okra. And at some point, she stopped doing all that. Maybe because we all grew up and moved out of the house. Well, except for Mike anyway, because Mike was 12 years younger than me. Okay, now we got this one done on the other side. So let me show you. Ooh, this is hot. Ouch. That was a bit warm. No, that goes this way. Okay. Uh-oh. I bet it's on the wrong side, but I'm going to leave it. Unless I switch. Let me see what happens if I switch to this. No, it's going to have to stay like it is. It's okay. All right, so I've got sashing on. Hang on a minute, and I'll show you where I'm at. So we're moving along here. Pat, did anyone else that's in the channel that's working on this so long? If you are, let me know. Because so far, I just know one. This is what it looks like now. Now all I got to do is put the sashing, the little sashing right here, and join it to this, and then we can sew the whole thing together. See how it looks? That's like, well, that should be good for at least half the quilt before I need to wind more bobbins, says Carrie. Yeah, I'm thinking that I'm going to be playing chicken with the bobbin soon too. Okay, let's get that small sashing on, and then we're going to join all of it together. How's your blocks going, Myra? Oh, you're coming along with them. Outstanding. Nora, you cannot lay on my pedal. Yeah, can you like move your head? Because you're going to make me have another accident like you did last time. And then we're going to have a crisis. You know, y'all, I wish you could see what happens between Nikolaj and Nora. It is the most profound, funniest thing I've ever seen. Nikolaj will get on the bed with her and she automatically spoons him. And she turns her head in such a way that she's like, it's adoration. And she puts her belly up so he can rub her belly. Thank you, Robin. Carrie likes it too. Thank you. We're getting there. We'll almost have this block made. I went to take a shower today and she was in the bathroom with me and he walked in and then turned around and walked back out because he had to get something. And she's sitting at the door whining like he had left her.
He did.
For 2 minutes. Ask him. She was sitting on the other side of the door whining and was about to start howling.
Leave your best girl.
Yeah. She know. That's why I said I'm chopped liver when he's home. Pat says I'm working on it, but not tonight. I'm doing the 4-patch star block right tonight. Hey Pat, how many blocks do you got made so far? Just out of curiosity, where are you at on yours? I'm just wondering, you know, how it's going and stuff. Oh, and I can't wait to see your 4-patch star, Pat. Don't forget to share the picture of it. Laugh out loud. I should be good. Wait, hang on. All right, we're still caught up. I thought someone else said something. Okay, so I got this on here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably sew it to the top. So we're going to join this to this, and then I'll line everything up the way it's supposed to be right there. Uh-oh, wait a minute, something's wrong. No, I can't add it to that side. I have to add it to the other one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to add it to. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. Sorry, guys, I told you wrong. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. No, I'm not. I thought I was in trouble, but no, I'm not. I just need to. Sorry, guys. Wait. I think I need to put another sashing on. Oh. Yeah, I need to put another sashing on because for some weird reason I decided to. Yeah, we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to get the other side on. And this is not going to be long enough. Need a ruler. Normally I would have used one long strip and I didn't this time because I was being silly. All right, let me see how long this needs to be. This needs to be 5 inches. So let's cut this one 5 inches. I'm only making 4 blocks for the Scrappy. I just need to add the outside sash. Oh, wow, you're coming. So you're going to make a little mini one then. Okay, gotcha. Hey, Tasha, welcome. It's good to see you. Thank you for thank you for letting me know what I put on the live that was, or the premiere that was wrong. We would have been in hot trouble. 4 a.m. in the morning. I set the time. There's a premiere next week with Tasha. I had me and her got together and I did a pre-recorded, just so y'all know, we did a pre-recorded podcast interview and it premieres next week on the 20. Where's my calendar? Where's my trusty calendar?
I think I saw it burnt out.
It did not burn up.
Yeah.
You do not get to do that. You don't get to do that. Sorry, Charlie, but I know better because I knew I had it right here. We are doing the premiere on May the 28th, starting at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
4:30 a.m.
No, p.m.
a.m.
p.m. Don't confuse me. She sends me a message. She's like, "Did you know you said it for 4:30 a.m.?" I'm like, "Uh-oh." I'm like, I don't even know how I missed seeing that. She's like, Tasha says, haha, yeah, 4 a.m. is a smidge too early for me. Sorry about giving you a heart attack. Pat says, I posted a picture of 2-point block early. If I finish this 4-patch star, I'll post later. Okay, Pat, I'll go have a look at them after the live. That's awesome. I'm so happy that someone's sewing these blocks with me, because I'm really enjoying the process of all these blocks. Did you see where Moda Blockheads was starting next week, Pat? And also, Kimberly Jolly is going to be doing the Socialites 3 starting in February of next year. And I am going to use that as a project for next year because I think that would be great. I won't have to think about it. The only thing is some of those blocks, well, the way she wrote it, it sounds like they're going to keep it more simple. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what the first 3 or 4 blocks look like. The Moda Blockhead blocks, on the other hand, they're just going to be probably challenging. And I should have turned this the other direction, dang it. Uh-oh, that almost went in the hole. I almost had a needle down the hole, baby.
Hasn't been there before.
There was 15 down that hole.
That's right.
I keep putting tape on it, but the washi tape and it keeps coming off. And I don't want to put sticky tape on it that's going to like leave a residue, you know?
Yep.
Okay, let me press this one and then we'll start putting this together. Okay. This iron. Nope. Don't you fall off. All right. Okay. Which one do I want to put on first? Let's do this side first. We're doing pretty good on time days, huh?
Yep.
I haven't fallen asleep at the wheel yet. And nor have I yawned, actually, which is kind of shocking because I thought I would have at least one spell of yawning too much. Please don't.
Nico!
Please don't. Just thinking about it makes me want to.
You know me.
Mr. Comedian.
Never a dull moment.
Nope, never a dull moment. That's right. Somebody's about to start whining, by the way. Time for some meat. Since she had that bone. That was a pretty good sized bone. I can't believe she ate that bone that fast. We gave her on the lamb leg that we deboned, there was 2 sections of the bone. There was a really long bone, but there was a real short one about this short. around that bout, and it had a little bit of diameter to that part of. She ate how long do you think it took her? 10 minutes?
15, 10,
15
15
yeah,
minutes.
10, 15 minutes, and she had eaten that whole dang bone. You could hear her in there crunch, crunch, crunch.
When it's good, it's good.
She is hilarious. Last night we gave her, see, I know her the way she thinks. So Nikolaj says, which one do you think she's going to eat? I said, probably, because we gave her a sliver of salmon last night. She got some lamb and she got some chicken. And we withheld the egg because she's been on a shell strike for some weird reason. And I think it's because something must be on the eggshell itself that's turned her off. Probably has a weird smell. I don't know. But anyway, she's not eating them. She's playing with them after she eats the inside out. And so I said she'll probably eat the salmon first, then the lamb next, and she'll wait and eat the chicken last. That's exactly what she did. But you know what? If you put apple in there, the apple is #1 high value food. She'll eat the apple before everything else.
She must have read the same article you read about high value dog food.
Yeah, dogs place value on the food they eat, depending on what it is. And chicken's always in last. Well, eggs are actually in last position, and chicken's the next one above the chicken egg. I've learned that I can't really feed her too much pork. It does something to her tummy, I've noticed, and so it's like it's not worth the problems it causes to feed it to her. So I pretty much barely ever give her any pork anymore. Now, sometimes I might give her like a pork rib. She doesn't seem to, because there's not that much meat on it. She doesn't seem to have issues with that. But if I give her like a piece of tenderloin or something like that, I think it must be too rich or something. Because I also discovered I couldn't give her salmon belly either. I can give her the rest of the salmon, but from the very bottom where the belly is, it's too much fat. It makes her sick. Especially if she eats it too fast. Because sometimes she acts like she's starving to death. Mama J is doing the block too, but she's not on here yet. I noticed she wasn't here yet. And I knew she was doing it. I was hoping to get some more feedback. Christina says, good night. Cindy Surratt, Christina, and see you on the next time around. Thank you for coming to the live today. I appreciate it. She lives in Sweden, honey. I think she lives in Sweden. A Norwegian country.
She kind of made it sound like she did.
Yeah, I think she does. I've met some really nice people from Sweden. There's some people that are from Sweden that will come over and work in Denmark, but they live in Sweden. Sweden ranks as the top 5 of the best places to live. Denmark ranks up in the top 10. Someone slid into first place this year, but I can't remember who it was. Someone knocked Sweden out of the first position. I don't remember who it was, though. My dog loves blueberry. Yeah, she loves those too. Do we even have any blueberries? Did she eat any of those blackberries you gave her the other day?
I didn't give her anything.
Oh, you didn't give it to her? Oh, darn. Have a shot of that vodka tonight. You'll sleep. Yeah, if I drink it. Or I could drink some Crown. That might knock me out.
I like that idea.
If I drink enough. I don't like doing that, though, because it becomes a habit. You remember I drank all those bottles of wine, I don't know, was it 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago? I drank 5 bottles of wine in a week. Something like that. They were all sitting It had been
Yeah,
on the
but that was a rather extraordinary week for you.
Yep.
Let's be real.
Yeah, I just was
That
not
was not the norm.
no, because I normally don't drink like that. And that wine had sat up there forever. Ask Nikolaj.
Yep.
It'd been up there for what, 2 or 3 years?
Yep.
And I hadn't touched it. And then suddenly I drank all of it. Like, and then I'm like, I'm like, gosh, I drank 5 bottles of wine. Does that mean I'm bad?
Yeah.
Because Nikolaj knows I'm not much of a drinker. He can drink me under the table. And he's not a drinker either. But when he drinks, he can do it. And still be up walking around while I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go lay down. It must be close to 8 o'clock. That's why she's, yep, right on cue, baby. It's 8:30. She knows it. I don't know how dogs know what time of the day it is. We're getting the other side on, and then I can join the whole thing together, and we'll have another box. Howdy, there's Andrea. Andrea says, I am watching on the TV while I put the last border on a quilt. I just wanted to let you know I'm here and watching. Hey, where are you at on the so long with these blocks? I'm just curious if you run into any problems or anything like that. Carrie says, I don't drink like that every day, so no problem. Yeah, I'm not a drinker. It's just that week I was not having fun. And I drank all of it. But you know, the kind of wine I was drinking probably wasn't the kind that people get drunk off anyway. Because I was drinking Moscato wine is what I was drinking.
You drink enough of it, and you can get drunk.
Yeah, I wasn't drunk though. It relaxed me is what it did.
Get the bus.
No, maybe the first couple times I did. But I drank the whole bottle. Each bottle got drank in one night. So there's that.
91, I gave my 91-year-old mother a half a less than a shot of wine, although it wasn't a shot.
Mm-hmm.
She said like a baby. It was great.
Now, like if I was to take a shot of, I could only probably tolerate what 2, maybe 3 shots of Crown Day.
Yeah.
And then I'm done because it just puts me out.
People do crown shots?
We do.
Really?
We have this crown that the first time I came home with crown from California, it was the gold label. But I came home this time with black label. This is the smoothest
Black label.
The gold and the black like this is the smoothest tasting crown you'll ever drink.
So those are like just sipping whiskeys.
Yeah, I would not ruin the taste of it in a Coke or something. Because those 2 labels are expensive. They're higher quality, I guess you could say, of crown.
Yeah.
And you can tell the difference between the regular blue bottle of. What are you chewing on? Oh, okay. That blue, the one that has the blue bag.
Yeah.
I can drink it straight too, but it burns a little bit when it goes down my throat.
Yeah, that burns.
Yeah, the gold label and the black label is not near as bad. I've not tried the vanilla one, Andy.
I don't like vanilla. I like peach and apple, and I don't like the blackberry, which is crazy, except for I drink those flavors with Coke. So somebody told me if I did the blackberry with 7-Up or Sprite that it would be okay.
You know what I like is blackberry Merlot. OMG.
It was good.
It is yummy.
I finished this one in what, 8 months?
What one, baby? Oh, that gin. Ugh. Yeah, about 8 months. It sat in the refrigerator all that time. You only took a shot here, shot there. I don't like the
Gin.
taste of that. That gin just no. You know
No.
what I used to do? You know what I used to do when I was really young and didn't know any better? I'd go to the liquor store and go home with sloe gin. You know what that looks like, right? Have you ever had sloe gin?
Well, yeah, slow gin fizzes. They're red.
Well, I would drink the sloe gin straight because I discovered that if because I was even when I was 22, I was having sleeping issues at times. And I discovered if I drank a couple shots of slow gin, it would knock my butt out. And I wouldn't be drunk or not. It would just relax me enough. And I realized that I couldn't be doing that all the time because I didn't want to create a problem because, you know, you and I talked a little bit about my dad's alcoholism before he stopped drinking.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be that way because I've always, one of the things I've always worried about is I didn't know if I could ever become addicted to anything. And so far I've never have, other than tobacco, which I gave up pretty quick. Okay, we got a problem here. I'm going to have to turn the, I don't want to. Well, how about we open the seam? Maybe we could do that. Because I don't want to turn these in two different directions. Let's just open the seam a little bit, just right here where I got to join it. I am still ripping out seams on that project. I made 2012 patch block. Oh, that's right. I forgot about you did that. How many do you got? How many block? Oh, she made 20. Ouch. Did you also put it was just the patches, not the, okay, gotcha. So you hadn't added the hourglasses onto them yet. Oh, thank goodness for that. Well, she could probably put the, what size did those end up being with the 12 patch, Andrea? I'm just curious. I can't imagine having to rip out, let's see. So you had to rip out one whole row, basically. But that's 20 of them you made. My grandson used to do crown and black coffee. That's interesting. I wonder if that tastes good that way. You know what I discovered tastes good in raspberry tea is vodka.
Taste.
Raspberry.
Vodka has no taste.
Yeah, it makes raspberry taste. It was good in raspberry tea.
You know what you did with the vodka? You eat potatoes. You eat vegetables.
I know, because it's made from potatoes. Yeah, but that Absolute is tasty. I didn't care for the Grey Goose, though. I thought it tasted bitter. And Grey Goose is supposed to be one of those upper echelons of vodka. Carrie says, I like those. I have some things with deadlines that I have to get finished first, says Andrea. That's okay. I told you we're not in a hurry to finish this quilt. We're taking our time, and we probably will not have a finished date until almost the end of the year. So take your time. She says, I refuse to do deadlines. Yeah, we're not doing a deadline on this sew along. I'll carry it through as long as people are still sewing. Now, if everybody says, I'm not sewing anymore, I'll probably stop. But right now, we're just going to keep on going because I'm trying to use charm squares up. Nikolaj said he'd sew again, honey. I mean, Myra.
He would.
He did. He come in here. Hey, check this out. You know what he zeroed in on? These little mini charms. Said he wanted to sew those together.
Cesar. So doesn't that make sense to you?
Well, they're small. I don't know. having fun. Well, I guess it depends on how he plans on sewing them together. If he's gonna like put them on a strip set where they're not lining up together on purpose, you know, like cut maybe one side in half and end it with a different half where you didn't have to worry about lining up seams. That would make sense to me, especially when you're a newbie. He did good. I was so happy. It went so well. Made me happy watching him sew over there and not get excited. Mr. Calm and Collected over there.
Mm.
Carrie says, in that case, I suppose I would. She says, deadlines pay the bills, says Andrea. Yep, there's that. Like I realized. Go ahead.
I had 72 of these little green. I had 72 of these green dudes.
Uh-huh.
And I've got 36 squares. So this is all the squares I have left.
Oh, you're doing
and
good.
I'm not going to quit tonight until I have it all done, so then I can just go and sew it out and then cut my next set of 72 and do them top and bottom. I did them side to side.
Oh, you're doing really good with that. That's excellent.
Y'all, this really is my first true quilt sewing right here. You're seeing it.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you, darling. I love you so much. I don't know about good, but I'm enjoying it and I'm not stressed and yeah, it's just fun.
And I love you too. Do you have the instructions for this written down somewhere? No, but I can write it. Give me a couple of days and I'll get as best as I can written down for you, okay? Because I'll get it done. I'll get it to you by Sunday. Is Sunday soon enough? Because I have to sit and write it. I haven't even written it. It's all been coming out of my head. And you're like, how do you do that? I don't know.
Well, I could do a brain searcher to try to find that pattern.
Honey, you are funny. Yeah, you can try. You can try.
Man knows. Man has to try.
That MASH episode, I've watched that MASH episode so many times where they take the pin and they go right through here, you know, to open the airway. I think I could do it. I think I could do it.
Yeah, I probably could too if I had to. They stick
stick my finger in there and try.
I've seen it where they stick a straw in it, you know.
I used to be a dental assistant, so I'm sure I could handle it.
Oh, that's cool. I wish I'd had the sense to go to college and do respiratory therapy since I know so much about it.
Oh, no, I can't handle mucus and phlegm. Y'all, the other night, God bless her, my mama was running at both ends.
Oh no.
She was, and she hadn't made it to the porcelain throne in time, and so she got some on the seat, so she wouldn't sit down, so she just stood there and it just kept going. Y'all can imagine, she's 91 and she weighs like 97 pounds. And so she's this big, right? And so anyway, so I was a dental assistant. I can handle blood, I can handle urine, I can handle feces. What I can't handle is phlegm and mucus and vomit. Yeah. So what I did when she was throwing up, I looked away and handed her the trash, the little trash can and wet a washcloth and handed it to her and stepped outside until she was through. And then I just put on my rubber gloves and cleaned her all up and changed, helped her change clothes because she's still able to do some things by herself. And luckily she had made it into the trash can every time she needed to. So I didn't have to deal with any of that. So, you know, I called my sister at 11:30 and I said, yep, I'm up to my elbows in you know what, in Shinola. And she just was laughing. And she said, but it doesn't bother you. I said, no, it doesn't bother me. I just put on my gloves, mentholate them in my nose, and went right on about my business.
Yeah, I can't clean up bark.
I
Or
cannot. Let me tell you, I worked for a children's dentist, and 8-year-olds are so theatrical. When you get them back there in a children's dentist office, dental assistants can do above the gum line teeth cleaning, and that's all little ones need. They rarely make tartars, so they don't need a hygienist. So, and when the dentist comes in, he checks to make sure they don't have any tartar or calculus, and if they do, he gets it off. So it's all good. It's within the scope of our certification, training, whatever. So, but if we got little 8-year-olds in, and they'd get theatrical and I don't want this, I'm going to throw up. I'd lean down real close and I'd say, that's fine. You can throw up, and then I'm going to throw up and you're going to clean it all up. And I think they really took me serious because they never made themselves throw up. They got themselves under control fairly quickly.
I have a sensitive gag reflex, and you know that. And so when dentists mess with my mouth, you guess what happens?
Yes, love, you do.
But the biggest challenge is the fact that I don't want them touching my face, because they're just too rough. That's why I don't see dentists. At some point I'm going to have to, and they're going to have to knock me out when they do it, because I might come out of the chair and smack the, you know what?
My lady. Katie, you've got to go to My Lady in St. Petersburg. She's wonderful and gentle and kind, and she will give you gas.
Yeah, because my face is a thing, and when you try to explain it to dentists, they just look at you like, you don't, yeah.
No, this lady would understand and would respect your boundaries. It would be fine, seriously.
And I need to do something about my mouth. It's just, I've been so traumatized,
Yes.
certain things I just can't do, because I just, when I went to the dentist the last time, they banged my mouth around so much, and she banged my face around with her tools and stuff, and I'm crying, and she could see that, but she just ignored it. And it took all, I was digging my fingernails into my hands to keep from hitting her.
And there's no excuse for that, sweetie. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. I will go with you and ensure that you have a trauma, as much of a trauma-free experience as you can have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seriously.
Andrea said something, and I wanted to address that. She said, that's fine. I just need measurements just to make sure that they're, for the assembly. Hey, have you noticed being off by 1/8 of an inch by any chance on any of your blocks when you put I don't know where you are on whether you put your hourglass onto your sashing and then you're sashing onto your 9 patch. I know you said you're pulling apart 20 of them, so I don't know if you had gotten to that point or not. Let me know.
Good morning.
Now, see, this one's hilarious, you guys. This one is not off. I don't understand.
Maybe it was just a test for you. Maybe it was just a test.
I wonder if it didn't, because I ended up doing, look, remember how I did that one long sashing down?
Yeah.
Instead of, you see how I forgot to do that with this one? So I ended up putting a short on this, on 2 sides of this. I wonder if that didn't have something to do with it. Because this one, look, it's not off. See that? How about, I bet that had to do with this, but it's not off. So maybe when I put that really long sashing, that's what went wrong and made it off by an eighth or something. Yes. Oh, I am. I'm not getting all psycho about it. I'm not going to rip it off. It's going to stay the way it is. Okay. This block's done. What do y'all think? Andrea says she hadn't got to that point yet. I'll make sure I get you the information. And then if you, one thing, okay, so on the original, come here, babe, so they can see the difference. So I forgot to do one long sashing down here. So this one ended up with sash. I put short sashing on this cornerstone block on both sides. So they were, one was 4.5 and then the other one was 5. On this one, I had one long piece. And so a couple of my blocks, or one of my blocks was off by like an 1/8. So Andrea, since you haven't got to that point yet, maybe instead of doing one long one here, I'll put the length of this that I use. But if you would rather do the short sashing up here on that corner block on both sides, it might make everything else line up better, because I have I'm off a little bit on a couple blocks, and I think it has something to do with this sashing more than likely. But that look at that cornerstone, you guys. Isn't that pretty? It's so pretty. I like that cornerstone. It's cute.
Nice. Really, really nice, honey.
Yeah, it came out really good. So I'm happy with it. So
You
now
should be.
Now yeah, I'm enjoying this. I really like doing this. So did you see the first one that I designed with everybody from last year? The one called Floating Tetras? You sure? I don't think you have. Hang on a minute. Let me show it to you, because I had it out and showed it to someone else. This was my first, because of my channel being new. And when we hit January of last year, yeah, I started a sew along, and this one's called Floating Tetras. But it started out like this one, designing it on the fly, and we were using charm squares from this also, but I was using wider sashing and stuff. But except for in between where you'll see these blocks. And what was I going to say? I was designing it in my head, so I never did get around to writing a pattern for this one. But this is the front of it. But it had no name on it to start with, and then I asked everybody to come up with some names, and we put it in a poll, and they voted on it, and it turned it out that everybody liked the name Floating Tetras. And this was from last year. And this is the back.
All right, down. Sit down.
Oh.
Sit down.
And then I quilted it on my Janome.
Oh, really?
I did diagonal in 2 directions. And some people made this one too. They enjoyed it. But I didn't get around to writing a pattern because I wasn't sure about some parts of it. Because I still haven't learned how to write this stuff yet. It's like in my head, this is what I picture. Let's make this.
What's in your head?
You're fixing to start singing? Oh no. You know, the one I've had on the brain is the one called Angel by what's the name of that band? Can't think of the name of it right. The name of the band. But he sings it on live and it sounds so, I don't know, it tugs at your heart. I don't know. Let me look it up and see who it's by, and then y'all know who I'm talking about. It's not Angel by not the lady that sings Angel. This is a different Angel song. let me see what it's called. And then we're going to start on some more hourglass blocks. It's called Angels by Robbie Williams. That is the most, I don't know, you have to listen to the song to see what I'm talking about. I am planning on writing this pattern for you. I have it started. Thank you, Andrea. I appreciate that. Let's see. Robin says, I had a dentist stabbing my gum with my head held down. It was so painful. I was screaming the F-bomb, and I need work now and had been dealing with. Yeah, when I had to get my I had 3 impacted wisdom teeth because my jaw is too small for that and my regular teeth. And when they sent me to the University of Florida dental area, I talked to the dentist and I said, I have issues with people touching my face. He says, okay, well, you've got to get those teeth out or you're going to be worse off than you are. So here's what we're going to do. We're just going to knock you out. And he did. They knocked me out and pulled all 3 of them, woke my butt up and said, okay, you can go home now. They brought in an anesthesiologist and they dealt with it. I guess it was like a heavy sedation or whatever you call it, where they didn't need to do an IV. They just I think they did put an IV in actually. I just didn't have to have any tubes or anything like that. And when they showed me the teeth, I'm like, those things caused all of that pain. He says, yes. They were so tiny compared to the rest of my teeth. All right. Looky here, Myra. These are going to turn into hourglass. See the polka dots? Isn't that cool?
Cute.
Yeah, I'm going to turn these into hourglass. I think they'll look super cute as hourglass. So I just got to trim them down to 2.5. See, so the way I made these half square triangles is what I did is I took 2 5-inch squares, put them face to face, and I sewed a seam all the way around the whole thing. Then I cut them on the diagonal, which gave me 4 half square triangles. Now, the 4 patches are when you're sewing, because the way I did the 4 patches is I took 2 of these 5-inch squares. I sewed them face to face, but I only put a seam down one side here and one side here, and then I cut it down this way and I cut it this way, and it gave me 2 half patch sets, which ended up with you ended up with 2 whole 4 patch blocks. Well, they were 4.5, but when you're doing the hourglass, if you don't trim it down before you turn it into an hourglass, the block is too big. You have to trim down because when you're doing the 4 patch, they're 4.5 inches. And that's that. So there's a little wastage right here, but it's not a bad wastage because we're using charm pack. So, I mean, and because I was doing all this in my head and just sewing to see what happened, that's how this all turned out. Because when I got my first hourglass, I'm like, wait a minute, this is too big for the 4 patch. Can't trim down because you already sewed the half square triangles together. And on an hourglass, there's no way to trim down an hourglass. You will lose all the points. I have lots here to sew together, though. That's good.
I have a proof patch.
Okay, yeah, I want to make sure we do that because I don't want it sitting in the, yeah. And see, these are cute. Oh, I have to take these apart. Look what I did. So when I sewed these were originally a 5-inch block, but you see this looks like it's plain. I sewed it on the wrong side. So I have to take all of these apart and re-sew them together. Stuff happens with me sometimes. Sherry, I want to see pictures of yours if you feel like sharing what you've got done so far. And by the way, thank you for sharing my my link the other day on your Discord so that people knew that I was on a premiere. I appreciate that. Wait a minute. We're cutting down to 2.5. This sort of work. Wait, let's use this other ruler. For those of you who like rulers and have different kinds of rulers, I want to show you guys something. I finally found a couple other rulers that I couldn't find before when we were talking about different ways of trimming down half square triangles. And I'm going to see if I can get this I need to clear some stuff out of the way so you don't get distracted by the mess. I want to show you this so you can see. Now I've been pressing my seams open before I trim down, but I'm just going to show you with this ruler here. I have two types of rulers. I have this one ruler, well, three types. This one is Quilted Today. On one side of it, it has whole inches, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all whole inches with the different smaller markers. But on this side, it has 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. So if you leave these closed, okay, I'm gonna stand up to do this, and I'm going to spotlight this camera, okay, so you can see what I'm going to do. Let me show you something. For those that don't know this anyway, I know most of y'all know this, so I'm probably not telling you nothing you already know. Okay, can everybody see this? So on here it's 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. Now I need 2.5 half square triangles. So I'm going to take this ruler and I'm going to line up this 2.5-inch line here on the seam that I've sewn. And you just hold the ruler. Now I have two of these same rulers, which I'm fixing to switch to the other one because I put some little plastic things on the back so it wouldn't move because they're very slick. And now they'll stay put where they're not moving around so much. And then you just line it up. And then you trim it down to 2.5. This is one ruler where you do it before you open it up. Okay? And you end up with a 2.5-inch square. Or you can use what is called, let's just do with that block. I just had it in my hand. Oh, here it is. Or you can use this block, what is called a block lock. And I'm still trying to understand this one a little bit. So your block would be open already. Your seam here has like a ridge. So what you're going to do is this ruler also has a ridge. And when you lay it on the seam, it locks in. See how it just caught it and locked? And it's moving when you move the ruler, the block moves with it. It's because it's snagged on that seam. Now, this is the part that I have trouble with because we want this to be 2.5 inches. Right now, it's 3 inches. So the way I would do this, no, that's wrong. No, it's right. Since it's 3 inches this direction, I would slide the ruler down 1/4 inch, which I find hard to do. But some people know how to use this block lock better than I do. So I need to experiment with this and learn this better. I think I cut my finger. It feels like I did. Or you can do it the way I've been doing it when I couldn't find my ruler. So you turn I like to turn it this angle, and you have a diagonal on this Creative Grids ruler. And because this is 3, this is measuring 3 1/8, which is strange. And we need a 2.5. So what I would do is I'll slide this down until I have it at 2 3/4. And I got to make sure over here on this side it's 2 3/4. And it's got to be 2 3/4 on this side also. So I slide the ruler until I get there. Which just, yeah, because this is off by a quarter. Okay, so I'm going to trim this side. And then I'll trim over here on this side. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is turn it around and make sure that angle's still going in the same direction. And I'm going to line it up to 2.5. You want to make sure the left side's 2.5 and down here on the bottom it's 2.5. And that this diagonal is laying right on that diagonal seam. Then you can trim on both sides. Now, why am I talking about this? Because if you are on a limited, if you're limited on money and you have already invested in these rulers or any ruler like it, you do not have to have a block lock or the other ruler, this Quilter's one I showed you. You do not, if you want to have it, it's okay to have it. But if you're limited on your funds, you can trim down with a ruler just like this, depending on the size of the block. You don't need all the fancy stuff. Only reason I have these is because they came in something that was given to me. And that's why I don't really understand the block lock too much, because I haven't played with it enough. She says, you just blew my mind with that ruler. Cutting before pressing open. Yeah, normally you see me press open. I know. But I can still press open. See? I just... Y'all are used to seeing me press everything open. I know you're not the first one that said that when I've done that. And you're right. Cutting before pressing open. Yep. How you doing, Jenny Drac? It's been a while since I've seen you. You doing all right? So I'm going to sit here and trim these down before I can sew them together. I'll put a hot iron on them and get them all ready to go. And then we'll start sewing them together to make the hourglass. And I have a seam up. Why is that like that? So very odd. How you doing over there on your end? Are you making progress?
Yeah.
What part have you got done?
Well, not much, but
Not much.
I got the half some of the house done. Start another one again. But, it's just trying to get these put down. And I need some parts that I'm thinking they're my spare parts.
You're missing parts?
No, not missing part. I think they're in my spare part pocket. So
I have a question for you guys. Doing okay. Work is too busy to hang out much. Yeah, I've been missing you. I haven't seen you in a while. I was telling Nikolaj, I want to buy a, what do you call the bottom part of that, babe? The plate?
Base plate?
I want to buy a base plate. I just don't know what color I want. And I don't know. We might have to go on their website and see if I can order spare parts. I want to do a barn star on a base plate.
What is a base? What is a base plate?
Show me, honey. Can you bring one? Which would require certain shapes and sizes of the blocks, which would be flat ones, not the, two-dimensional, but they do make flat blocks, like what we used on the, like on this vase. You see this shiny? This is a thin piece of Lego right here. I don't know if I can peel it off or not.
So what do you want to do with that?
I want to, here's a base plate. I want to take the regular flat Legos, which they use for decoration on the outside of some stuff. And I want to make a barn star on here. A quilty block on a Lego plate using Legos. Because I think that would look pretty darn cool.
That would be very nice because you could put it outside and it would be weather resistant.
Well, I'm definitely going to paint a barn star on a board and have Nikolaj hang it up on the outside of our house, because our front porch has a solid wall, and that would be a perfect spot to mount one on the outside. When people walk by, that's what they'll see. Because our walls are white, or our siding is white, and it's a flat siding on that porch part of it. It would lay perfect on it, I think. That is unless he vetoes that idea. I don't think he will, though, because I'm going to do it on plywood and use what do you call it, oil-based external paint. That would be awesome and very creative, says Andrew. Yeah, Nikolaj's learning how to use the software for the Lego stuff, so I'm thinking that once he gets a good handle on it, maybe we can design something like that on it, and that way I know what kind of pieces I need to get.
It's easy to use. They can use that too.
I think it's like a CAD program, just like the EC8 is for quilt blocks.
Me, I'm trying to build a house for them right now, and I have a little what we call writer's blockage.
Yeah, you should build a replica of our house. Yeah. Like whatever.
Yeah.
I have to go. I have my GG stained glass quilt block still. I want to see it, Andy. Maybe you could share it over on the. I don't know if you have a Facebook group or not, but if you don't, you could go share it over on my Facebook group, which is Greenland Quilter, or share it on. I tell you what, you can also do is share it on your community tab of your YouTube, and I'll go have a look. I don't like okra. Finally, someone got me to taste it. I still say I don't like creamed okra, but I do like okra. Try fried okra, Sylvia, because there's no, the thing that people get put off about is if it's not cooked right, it's slimy, as they put it. But fried okra doesn't do that. I'll slow you down. Same with 3D modeling, says Andy. She has a 3D printer.
My grandson has a 3D printer and knows how to use it, actually.
I don't even know if we've seen a 3D printer here, have we, babe?
No.
I don't understand how they work, but they're fascinating. I've seen a 3D printer making artificial joints in a medical lab before. It's amazing.
I saw where I was watching I think it was on YouTube, I watched it on, where a house was being built with a 3D printer, a massive sized one. That was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. It was literally building the house right there on the property.
Well, I finished these 36 blocks. Now to go and iron them. I'm not going to do it while we're on, but I'll iron them, and then I have to cut out the other half square triangles for the green.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm getting excited. I'm quilting a top. I'm piecing a top.
That's awesome. You're doing really good, sissy. I'm proud of you. And that's said in a loving way.
I know, baby.
If you're a little bit frustrated, take a little break.
Yeah, Nikolaj makes me take breaks when I get frustrated. I like fried okra. That is the only way I like it, says Carrie. I will be back in a little bit. I have to take care of my rabbits. We are almost 100 degrees today. Oh, and they are drinking a lot of water, says Andrea. That's hot. Ouch. Okay, these already look like 2.5 inch, so I just need to press those. All of these look like 2.5 inch. So no pruning them anymore. And we'll get them paired off the colors are supposed to be. You know, you could make, if you don't want to use the, you know, when you're doing the hourglass, you know how I was showing you I was using the same color on all sides of it? You could mix these where you could take 2 of one color and then go through your little pile, your little stockpile here, and find 2 different colors that's not the same as what you're already using. Let me see if I can find some. Okay, here's a pink. Let me find the other one that looks like that. Oh, where are you? I know you're in here somewhere. Unless I hadn't pruned you. Oh, come on. Where are you? We have a hot mess right here. Let me see if I can find the other one like that. Because I'm making a point. You can be as scrappy with these as you want to be. Huh, nope, that's not it. Where's the other one at? Darn it. There should be 4 of them. Unless I hadn't trimmed them down. That's not it. And that's a white one. And I'm looking for a pink one with strawberries on it. I bet I haven't trimmed them down. Let me see where is it at? That's a good question. They're not in my box. Uh-oh. We have an orphan here, looks like.
What?
I have some blocks. Yeah, all right. All right. So until I find the other piece. Okay, let's try this. Let's do blue and white. We already have white here, darn it. Let's do the red and the red butterflies with the white polka dot, or not really white. So you could do it like this. You can mix your colors. Can everybody see that? Okay. No, you cannot see what I'm doing. I'm out of the camera. Hang on. Sorry. Let me move it over here where you can see what I'm doing. So you can actually be as scrappy as you want to be. You don't have to use the same 4 sets and just turn them around. See what I mean? Like that. And you can make it that way if you want to do it like. I think it would look better if they had dark color here. Since we have that turquoise, we could take, nope, we can take this white and turn it around like that. And like that. And you'll have the dark color out here. You can do anything you want to do. Do whatever you like doing. That's the main thing with this scrappy stuff. Be creative. And you know, but do it so that it makes you happy. And if it makes you uncomfortable, then do it how that makes you feel comfortable. And I'm going to have to press a lot of little 2.5-inch blocks. So let me get all these out of the way. How does that look weird? And I'm going to start trimming these down because I have a few to trim down. Put that over there, disappear. I'm quilting a quilt that has almost reached the abandoned stage. Uh-oh, Sylvia. Is it that you're not enjoying it? Or something going wrong with it? I think I'm going to end up having to quilt Nikolaj's because I don't think he's too interested in quilting his. Unless you want to give it a try, babe.
Nah.
It's like, nope, not doing it. He's just happy he got to make, he did a good job just making it. So I get the lucky job of quilting it. But they're big enough for 2 nice little picnic blankets to take out to nature with us. So that we can sit on it. I just need to find a background that I don't have to worry about on the back side of it, that worry about getting anything on it from grass or whatever.
Unless you want me to buy some we could go down to yours and buy some scrappy yarn. Just use it as a background.
What you mean, like sheets or something?
Yeah. Oh no, just for the back. You meant the backing for it?
Yeah, the backing for it, because
Um,
I have batting. That's not the problem.
But then we could go down to yours and just buy a piece that you didn't like very much that you use as a backing. In a store.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, we could get as cheap as we want to with it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because it'll end up being used outside when we go hiking.
Yeah.
And eating and stuff and sitting, because we haven't been to our secret spot in a while.
Oh, we have
We need to go visit our secret spot.
sacred spot.
It's sacred, yeah, because it used to be Coda's in our spot. Now Coda's gone. I'm still missing him.
Missing too.
It's weird him not being around. You know, we were talking about security of our house today. It's the first time we've really talked about it because of some things that's being discussed about Greenland right now. And I told Nikolaj, I said, you know, we don't have anything to protect ourselves with. Coda's gone. And he was our protection. And now we don't have him. So I think we might be wrong, but I think we're going to see a hunting stick in our future for protection. And I never thought I would see the day that I would even think of doing something like that.
Is that like a SHOTGUN?
No, I'm not. No, I'll buy a 22-250. That will stop someone in their tracks. I can't do what you just mentioned because of what Hardy done.
Yes, okay, I got you.
Yeah, I can't. I don't even want one in my house.
We have a big bang, boom, boom.
You talking about the SG?
Nope. It's a different one, I think.
Yeah, but he used to have a couple of hunting ones, and they got borrowed and never brought back again. So I think we're gonna invest in at least have one in the house and put it away somewhere safe, just in case.
With 1 million ammunition.
A million in. You're funny, babe. Hopefully we'll never have to do that, babe. Hopefully. What is wrong with this? Oh, this ruler's teasing me. Actually, it is teasing me. Let me turn it around. Dang. Okay, now I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I'll tell you about it later, Myra, what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
can't say anything about it because it'll stir up a hornet's nest.
We got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Not enough stuff for this one.
Yeah, after what we saw today, and read today, I'm totally shocked by all of it.
This slide.
Oh, this slide, what time is it now?
We have been running for almost 3 hours now.
Yeah, maybe we should stop at like 9:30. What do you think? Well,
Is it where you are?
Huh?
What time is it where you are?
It's 16 minutes after 9. And I can't believe I'm still kicking, but I still got to feed us too. But we have a meal plan. We're going to have steak tonight. Or at least that's the plan, right, baby?
Yep.
Because that won't take but 6 minutes to cook on the grill. And I'm gonna make a small stir fry while he babysits the steak, and then after that I can chill it. I have to set my live for tomorrow night. I haven't done that yet. And then I'm not even sure what I'm gonna sew tomorrow night yet, because next Friday is another block. So I don't know. I haven't decided what I want to sew. I may work on I'll either probably work on my Phoenix. I have something interesting to share with you guys. And I think y'all will find this interesting. Let me read what I found out about what a phoenix bird, what the lore is about the phoenix bird.
excuse myself to go check on my mom, and I'll be right back because I've read this on your, where
Yeah,
you posted it.
it's very interesting. So while you're doing that, I'm gonna read it. So the phoenix is a mythical bird known for its I can't even say the word. Anyway, it means a circle, renewal and rebirth. It is often associated with immortality, resurrection, and the sun. The phoenix is reborn from its ashes after being consumed by flames. It means rebirth and renewal. The phoenix represents the nature of life, death, and rebirth. In Greek mythology, the phoenix is an immortal bird that lives for centuries or even thousands of years. It's connected to the sun, but it also is a symbol of hope, renewal, and the possibility of a fresh start. I thought that that was interesting. I did not know that about that bird. But I'm having fun with sewing the fabric, and I've been having fun making the thumbnail for it because I got a little fancy with how I was doing it, and kind of elevating it a little bit, because it's been fun. I remember when I was younger, I used to like to read about mythology and stuff, and then when we got into church, I wasn't allowed to read that stuff anymore. San Francisco uses phoenix on its city flag because the city pretty much burned down after the earthquake. And I bet they did that because it rose from the ashes, right, Jenny Drake? Or Jenny Drack? I'm not sure how to say your name. I bet that's why it's a symbol, because it rose from the ashes. Hey, Maritza, how are you? I almost didn't realize you were there. I didn't know that. And I read there's more about it that I read, and I'm like, golly, some of that I kind of can relate to, because my life was a total mess, and this man changed my life, and I feel renewed living over here. I mean, sometimes y'all hear me talk about my stuff, but that's understandable considering where I've come from. But this is why I love Greenland so much, because here I have found peace and renewal. And every time, a lot of people don't understand why I keep talking about icebergs in the ice cap, because there's nowhere like it. To me, it's one of the purest things about nature. And it's so hard to describe, because when you're showing it on a video, or you're taking pictures of it, or you're talking about, a lot of the aspects of when you're right there next to it is lost because you're not there in person. And I try so hard to try to capture as much as I can. But when I watch other people's iceberg and ice cap visits, I get why a lot of people don't get why we talk about it so much, or why we feel such an affinity with it. It's because it's this thing that happens to your brain, and it's intoxicating being around it, and you realize just how small human beings are and how simple human beings are, because nature creates this ice, and it has color, and it has texture, it has shapes and sizes, and not any one of them are the same. And some of them have what we call gates, where there's a hole that go all the way through. They call those gates. And some of that ice is thousands of years old on top of it. And your mind can't comprehend that, because we live in such a short time frame that thinking in 1,000 years is difficult to really think about it. And I love sharing this with people because, a lot of people probably never will come to Greenland for a visit, even though things are opening up where you can, for whatever reason. And you know, if I can share it this way and share just a drop of what I see and it makes someone happy, that's what I'd love to do. Thank you, Sherry, for that. She says, I made you a moderator on my channel so you can invite friends on Discord. Okay, thank you. I'll take care of that. So I know sometimes it sounds like I don't know, crazy or something, but I'm not. But I could talk about plants in the same way I talk about icebergs. You take me to a botanical garden and you would never get me out of a botanical garden. I could spend hours in one and someone be like, we need to go. We need to go. And I'm like, I don't want to go. Because it's just another it's another type of nature that I'm in love with. Oh, I'll have to tell Nikolaj when he comes back in here what you said. Jenny Drax says, I love watching your Greenland nature videos. Well, stay tuned because we're going to have some new ones coming out this summer when I start getting out on the boat. Ah, we're having a drink. What you drinking?
Amaretto sour.
Do you know what my first mixed drink was when I was 19 years old? It this older man that was in the church, Ron, he's about 30 years older than me, but he took me under his wing because I didn't, you know, because I had left all that crap at home or got out of that crap at home. And so he was like a mentor, kind of like, and he took me out to this restaurant in Gainesville at the Oaks Mall called the Uncle's Brownstone Restaurant. That place was this uppity, upscale kind of restaurant. It was really expensive. And so when I looked at the menu, I'm like, I don't even know what this stuff is on the menu. And he says, how about I recommend something? So it was chicken and broccoli cream crepe. And when they brought it out, he said he was so proud of me that I didn't make a big deal of it. Because when I looked at it, I didn't say anything. He halfway thought I was going to say, what is that? Because I didn't know what it was. And when I tasted it, I was like, oh my God, this tastes good. And so after we finished our meal and we had dessert, he ordered an after dinner drink, and it was amaretto and orange juice. It was the first time I'd ever had alcohol. It was so yummy.
Juice, really?
Yeah.
I've never thought to mix those two together.
They taste good together. Honey.
Yeah.
Andy said that she ordered the Johnny 5 Lego set for the Lego Live.
Johnny 5?
Yep. He's got to go look that one up, Andrea. Hey, Janice. She says she loves how passionate and knowledgeable I am about Greenland, the environment, and so much more. Thanks, Janice. Are you feeling better now? And welcome back, Andrea. I hope you're feeling better. I was concerned. She's been sick.
Andrea?
No, Janice.
Janice.
Hi, Janice.
Hi, Janice.
Yeah, she was sick last weekend and couldn't make it to the live. Welcome back, Andrea. You fed her, right?
Yeah, I want to fed her. What do you
Oh,
want?
now it's time for you know what. You're going to have to wait, Missy. She's been good tonight. She hasn't been giving me any grief over here. She's sitting next to my desk, staring at Nikolaj, wagging her tail. We're getting closer to getting all these trimmed down. How are the rabbits doing, Andrea? Janice, you want to come up? Are you up for sewing this weekend with me? You're welcome to join me on Saturday if you want to, or Friday. Whichever. Do you know we have 5 Thursdays, 5 Fridays, and 5 Saturdays in this month?
Just coming month.
No, this month right now, currently. So right now we're on the 4th Saturday, or the 4th Thursday, sorry. So we have another Thursday next week that's still in May. So some extra live streams for a month. How's your rabbits doing? I didn't complete that sentence, I take it.
You did. You did.
Okay, I was thinking I didn't. Okay. As long as you're feeling better, that's what I care about. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I talked to Danny, and so next month's we're going back into the regular schedule on the mental health weekend. So,
Yeah.
so the one for June, and I'll send you all the information. It's scheduled for, I hope you're going to be home, or where you can get on. It'll be the 22nd of June.
Yeah, you told me the 22nd. I got it on my calendar.
Okay, just making sure. Okay.
Yeah, thanks. I got it.
Okay. Because that's when we're going to have the next one.
And wherever I am, I'll have my computer and everything with me, so it'll be just fine.
Okay, great.
I feel sure we'll be back in Central Florida by then. But if something were to happen with Bill's brother and the surgery he's having, and we needed to stay, or I needed to stay, then, you know, we do whatever we needed to do. So, because family's first.
Yeah, I understand that.
But even with family being first, just like, you know, I'm here with mom, but I can do this. She's been asleep this whole time.
Hey, whatever works, right?
Well, bless her heart. She's asleep more than she's awake right now, but
do you think it's going to be soon?
My sister thinks June. She thinks that it'll, you know, June, but only the good Lord knows.
Why does she think it might be June?
Because she will be here the month of June.
Oh, so she thinks it'll happen when she's home, or when she's
right.
there.
Right, because my sister's the nurse practitioner, and I'm the baby, and you know, so
Yeah.
Phyllis thinks that, you know.
Well, you said she wasn't eating as much. She was barely eating, so I was wondering about that.
Well, yeah, exactly. She's not eating a lot, and she's not drinking a lot, and she's sleeping more than she's not sleeping, and
yeah,
you know, and then she perks up and has a really awesome day, and you know, I think, ooh, and then it's back to.
Have you noticed? Well, no, you wouldn't, because I know with my mother, right before she went into a coma, like that day before, and then part of that day of, she was like herself. She was actually able to verbalize a little bit. She wasn't falling down every time she stood up, and I'm like, somebody's feeling better. She wanted to go out, and I'm like, nope, not a good idea, because I didn't want her falling, and then it was like she was herself, and then she never lost her faculty. She just couldn't speak, and every time if she stood up too fast, she'd fall down, and it always looked like we were beating the crap out of her when we weren't. And because I was afraid someone was going to say we were beating on her when we wasn't. And but that day, like that 24 hours before she fell into the coma, it was like my mom was there, talking and running around, and all these
That's
things.
really special. I'm glad you had that.
And then we went to bed, and in the middle of the night, I heard a crashed on the floor, and I'm like, oh no, she got up to go to the bathroom and got up too fast. And when I went into the bedroom, she was in a coma. I had to call someone to help me pick her up and get her in the bed. And hospice came, and that's when they told me that she was in a coma because it was, it was time.
How
They
long
said,
did she stay? How long did she stay that way?
about, I think about 24 hours, because one of the things hospice told us to do is to be talking to her. The hearing was the last thing to go, and even though she was in a coma, she could still hear us.
Right.
And so it was me and my sister. I think it was me and Cheryl, because Karen was in Spain, but she was on her way there to get there, but she didn't get there in time before Mom passed. I was still trying to find my brother because him and his wife went off on some kind of vacation at the most inopportune time, so I couldn't find him. And hospice was there, and they were basically what do you call, ministrating her, with her, because we had to line the bed, because when you're in a coma, you lose all your body function. And so they were having to fix the bed, and like every half hour we were changing her clothes, which was freaky to me. And and then the worst part of it that I just totally didn't appreciate was and y'all don't, no one in here get mad at me, okay? Because of what I'm about to say, is when my brother called the church and people came in the church and they shoved me and my sister aside, kicked us out of my mom's room so that they could pray over her.
She was gone.
And I'm like, we should be in there, but we were thrown out of that room so they could do that. And if the resentment I already had, that just made my resentment worse. And I'm like, they had no right to come in there and just take over after all the months that me and my daughters took care of my mother. It really hurt. And then when my brother came home, it was even worse than that. It went downhill from there. Because, they were done. We had served our purpose, and that was the end of it. And after that, I didn't have control over anything. Not, how the funeral or anything was handled. But she did the same thing that she did with Dad. She wanted to be cremated. And I thought it was interesting because I want to be cremated. And when I found out Dad wanted that, I'm like, really, he did? My mother said, yeah, that's what he wanted. So they took him out to the ocean and did their thing with his ashes. And I never talked to either one of them about that kind of thing. And when I heard it, I'm like, wow, I thought I was the only one in my family that wanted that, but I guess not.
My two cousins a very nice plaque with latitude. I made my cousins a very nice plaque with latitude and longitude of where we sprinkled their dad's ashes. I mean, they were there on the boat, but I don't really think they thought about it. But someone had mentioned to me that would be a nice thing to do, since since they sprinkled his ashes in the open ocean, as opposed to incorporating him into an artificial reef where he could have had a little brass plaque. So what I did was I did a nice little plaque for them with longitude and latitude each, in memory of my uncle, and they really seem to appreciate that.
Yep. Hi, Pete. I didn't see you slip in. Carrie's going to go make dinner. See you later. And then Janice says, I hate that you experienced that, Katie. Myra, it must be challenging taking care of your mom.
Janice, she said to me the night that I was having to clean her up after she'd been so ill. I said, Mama, this is one time, one night. How many times did you clean me up when I was a baby?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just what you do. It's you love them and you just carry on.
I've tried to talk to Nikolaj about what I want. And I think he understands what I want. And I've told my kids the same thing. I said, if something happens to me, I want y'all to cremate me. I don't want no funeral, nothing. I want you to cremate me, take my ashes to where I love to be, and then all of y'all go out to dinner and have a party. That's what I want. Celebrate my life that way. Don't be sad. Don't be anything. Just get on with things because, that's how I feel about it. I don't want a big deal made of it. And that might sound, I don't know, harsh. I don't want to be put in a cemetery. I can tell you that. When Hardy died, I had him cremated, and I put him in the National Cemetery in Bushnell. I think it's Bushnell. Isn't that where the National Cemetery's at?
There's one in Bushnell, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one where I put him at. He's in that one. I don't know if the kids ever go there or not. I think Lynette's been a couple times, but
my uncle is in Barrancas, which is in Pensacola. Bill,
there was so many of them.
Yeah, there are quite a few, and there's a new one in Tallahassee that's on Rolling Hills.
Yeah,
where Bill's brother and sister-in-law are buried.
Yeah.
And so Bill wants to be buried in Arlington, and I vetoed that because if I ever want to go see him, I'm not going to Arlington. Plus, right now they're only letting killed in action veterans be buried there right now because the space is so tight.
Yeah.
So we talked about Bushnell, Barrancas, or Tallahassee, and since his brother's in Tallahassee, it wouldn't be Bushnell because we're not going to settle there. We're not staying in Central Florida, but he was stationed over near Barrancas, but his brother's in Tallahassee, so I think I just might do Tallahassee.
Well, they have an interment wall that's really nice, and that was why I chose that one. So, and it was easy enough that the kids could go to, if they wanted to actually go visit him, they could, because it was in Central Florida, and at the time they were in North Florida, but now we got one on the West Coast. But Kristen comes to the East Coast every summer for a couple weeks, so there's no reason why she couldn't if she didn't want to, or if she wanted to. And Thomas is 4 hours from Lake City, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal either. Speaking of Thomas, he wants to come down to Florida for like a 4 or 5 day little summer thing. You will not recognize Blaze. He graduated from 3rd grade yesterday. Got a good report card, and he's going to the 4th grade, and he's doing really good. I'm so happy they're doing so well. I kind of been bending his ear a little bit about trying to manage his money right now because there might be a recession in the fall, and I don't want him to be caught with his, in a bad spot. Because, you never know what will happen. They deliver food to schools and stuff, but I don't know. They might have to cut back, and I'd hate to see Thomas get unemployed again, without having a backup plan. Yeah, we'll be the backup like we always are. He's doing so good, Myra. You'd be so proud of him.
Proud of him.
He is a different human being now.
He sounds like Blaze really is too.
Yeah, Blaze has not been in trouble in forever, and goodness gracious, I mean, it's just been truly I get all teary-eyed because he's had such a rough time of it, and life is better now. Now all we need to do is get him a decent girlfriend.
Well, it was rough for so long, and it was, living in a tent, living in a car, living in a hotel, or, it was just so rough for so long.
I thought it was never going to get better, and now it is.
Well,
totally
nothing stays the same, and this won't either, but hopefully it'll never go back to that bad again.
Yeah. I was talking to him the other day about it. I said, how do you feel about your life right now? And he says, and when you're talking to him, you remember how you've talked to him. You've seen the grumpy Thomas. You've seen the sullen Thomas and the I'm not going to talk and say anything, Thomas, because he wouldn't share anything. He's not that way now. He's relaxed and calm. And I mean, yeah, me and him have our little squabbles from time to time because mom's going to push, because I need answers about stuff sometimes. But outside of that, he's just not the same person you knew way back when everything was so bad. And I feel like that he's on the right path now. And I think as long as he stays focused on that, he should be okay.
I got a Mother's Day card from my youngest child.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't always send them. She always calls, but she doesn't always send cards. And she sent a card this year with the sweetest little message in it. And it came, I got it out of the mailbox the day after Mom's rough night,
Mm-hmm.
where I had, I'd been scrubbing toilets until 2:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And Cloroxing everything in sight. And so anyway, so I got this card, and in it, she wrote a really sweet couple of sentences for, in addition to what the card said. But it was just, when you have a child that isn't overly expressive,
Yeah.
but then they express something, it's just so meaningful and so touching. And I was just so grateful to get it. And I told her so, and I told her what a rough night I'd had, but yeah, it was beautiful.
You know what I love the most about what's going on between me and my son right now is sometimes, because he's playing mom and dad right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's being a dad, but he's also having to be a mom. And he'll call me and he says, Mom, I need help. And I'm like, okay, what did he do now? Talking about Blaze, I can't get him to do blah, blah, blah. I said, did you take his switch away? Yep. And he still won't do it? Nope. All right, let me talk to him. And I'll talk to him. And I don't scream at him or tell his dad to go beat his butt. I don't do any of that. But we have this discussion about, do you want your switch back? Yes, ma'am. So why won't you do what your dad says to do? I don't know. I said, why don't you know? And it's still, I don't know. I said, do you want your switch back? Yes, ma'am. I said, so what do you got to do to get your switch back? Well, I got to go do what my dad asked me to do. I said, exactly. So are you going to go do what your daddy asked you to do? Yes, ma'am. I said, so I'm going to check on you in a couple hours. And if you haven't done it, you don't get your switch back until you do it. And that child will go do what he was supposed to do. But it took talking to grandma to set him straight. And I didn't have to be mean about it, and I feel like what's so cool about it is Thomas calls me, I need your help. Instead of dealing, screaming at his child, he's not doing that. He's calling and asking for help.
It's phenomenal because it's really important, even though you're not physically there, it's important for Blaze to realize that he's got a grandmother and a grandpa that love him and that support him and that are there for him and want the best for him and can be disappointed in his actions, but always love him. And I just think you guys are doing so good with him because, Blaze has had his issues and his hard times too. And when puberty hits, oh my goodness gracious, hello.
I'm not even looking forward to that because I'm wondering how puberty is going to affect not having a mom. And Thomas called me the other day and he says, Mom, I walked in my son's room and it smelled like VO. And it was funny because I'm like, oh, I remember when that happened with you. He says, well, what did you do? Because he didn't know what to do about it. I'm like, well, aren't you still using the same stuff I bought you when you first started having to wear deodorant and stuff? Yeah, I said, isn't it Old Spice or something? Yeah. I said, so go buy your son some Old Spice. Let him try it out. If he doesn't like that smell, take him back up there and let him sniff a few of them. And start out simple. Don't go getting any of that fancy crap that's going to make him stink. Just get simple stuff. And if he's still, if you're still noticing BO, make him take a shower before he goes to school. Make him take a shower when he comes home from school.
And wash his clothes, you know.
Eats more often and stuff like that because that's puberty coming. His voice hasn't changed yet, but I can hear it looks like it's going to change soon. You know, he'll be 9 in July. It's crazy. I just can't believe he's going to be 9. That shocks me. Because when he went to when he went to California, he was 3. You know, when he was removed from his mom. Hi, Lori. How you doing? Andy says, I still have some of my dad's sisters, uncles, grandma, grandpa, Jason's brother ashes here, and probably gonna spread them soon. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of them. Wow. I am going to go start dinner, says Andrea. See y'all later. Be blessed, less stressed, and pet some fabric today. Yep, that's what I'll do. Thank you for coming. And Andrea, I'll get on getting you that the measurements that you need. And then if you get stuck on something, let me know, okay? I'll get all that done to you. I'll have it to you by Sunday. I'll try to get it done tomorrow. Hopefully I'll get it all done. All right. Look at here. I have a block is missing 3. So they must be around here somewhere. Get him a big bottle of Febreze. My son is 16. I have to go in with Febreze. You know, I don't know that I want, golly, I don't know how to put this. I think that has to be a more natural way to deal with that without spraying chemicals in his room. And that to me is a chemical. But yeah, you have a point there. I don't know. Okay, what time is it now? I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so I will miss your live. I will try to catch the replay, though, if I can. Okay, Andrea, it will start around, I don't know. I haven't made a decision if I'm going to start it at 3 or at 4 o'clock. Probably 4 o'clock tomorrow since it's Friday. Okay, dinner time, says Andy. Got to get food ready. Thank you for coming to the live. And I think I need to go too because it's like, and don't leave yet. I have to tell you something, Myra.
Bye,
yeah.
everybody.
All right, y'all, thank you for coming. And I know I only got 1 block done, but I got lots of these trimmed down and ready for the hourglass. And y'all, those of you who are working on this so long, just keep on gently going along. We're not in a hurry to get this done. Janice says, just joking. Oh, you're wait, what? She says she has to spray the whole room. Anyway, thank you, everyone. I'm glad you're feeling better too, Janice. So stay on the mend with us. Keep us posted. Y'all have a great evening. It's late my time. And remember to live, laugh, love, and dream. And what do you do with all of that? You make something beautiful. And I love you guys and see you tomorrow night on the next live. Good night, everyone. She says her appointment is at 3:30 Central Standard Time, and we'll probably go out to dinner afterwards since she will be hungry from fasting. Okay, whenever if you miss it, it's okay. You know, I have replays. Maybe I'll get to see you on Saturday, maybe. I hope. Take care of yourself, Andrea, and I'll get the measurements sent to you as soon as I can. Good night, everyone, and see you tomorrow afternoon, your time. Bye.
Good night, everyone. I'm staying on Zoom.
Okay, hang on. Let me disconnect the live. All right. Uh-oh, where'd it go? Oh, there you are.
Oh, fog's here.
The fog has come?
Yep.
Of course it has.
All right.